time we'll call to order the March 2nd, 2026 meeting of the City of Clearwater Downtown Development Board. We'll now move to item 2.1 on the agenda, and that's the approval of minutes.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Before we go further in the agenda, I'd like to welcome Mr. Tetlici to the board. First meeting, and so welcome.
Thank you.
That moved to item 3 on the agenda, that's citizens to be heard regarding items not on the agenda. Are there any citizens here today who want to be heard on a downtown development board item that is not on today's agenda? Seeing none, we'll move to item 4.1. Approve the January 2026 financial statement for filing.
Good afternoon, Ann Lopez, CRA Assistant Director. This first item that I have for you is to approve the financial statement for filing for the month of January. The expenditures for the month of January are outlined in the agenda item. There was a total of $173,856. Excuse me. And from the beginning of the fiscal year through January, there was a total of $749,772 that was spent, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Is there anyone here from the public today that desires to speak to this agenda item? Hearing none, is there any board discussion? Vice Mayor?
Just for clarity.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you confirm whether the column that says available balance includes unencumbered or unallocated funds or restricted funds?
So what I would consider to be unallocated or unrestricted funds would be towards the bottom where it says downtown future initiatives. That has a balance of $592,915. That would be funding that you have available that has not been allocated to any type of special event, any program, any initiative within the DDB budget. For this fiscal year, correct. There's also a line that says Cleveland Street activation. That has an available balance of $245,000, just a little over $245,000. That's funding that has been allocated for that initiative, but there's still available balance for projects that could come out of that.
So that would be the $300,000 that we, in March of 2025, approved for the mobile vendors.
So,
As part of that.
correct,
would be.
yes. We've used some of that funding. There will be at the April 20th meeting, we will bring forward a full presentation on all of the initiatives that we've done under Cleveland Street. But we have allocated and spent some of that original $300,000. And then at the February meeting, we did add an additional, I want to say it was around $150,000. So we brought that back up to $300,000. But under downtown future initiatives, there still is $592 that has not been encumbered to any program or initiative.
Just quick question. Can you just, again, I missed it. I didn't have it up on my screen.
Sure.
Tell me where I can find the unallocated, what I call unallocated balance.
It is
The bottom?
towards the bottom. It says future downtown initiatives, so it's under the column.
I see.
Yep, for business assistance.
Okay.
Yep. So that's kind of your catch-all of what's remaining.
Thank
that
you.
we can allocate as the board sees.
Okay, Councilmember Albritton?
That 300,000, was that for mobile vendors such as parklets, that kind of situation?
Yes,
And we've spent some of that
we have.
on that type of initiative or just other mobile vendors
We've
elsewhere?
done different initiatives, so Cleveland Street activation was more of a broader initiative, and under that came just different programming. So the DDB has allocated some funding and the CRA has allocated some funding. Under that has come, we've done new banners on Cleveland Street. We have done the lunchtime market, which is actually this Friday. So we've done the lunchtime market, the event series with St. Pete College came out of that. So we have had some programming that we've done out of that initiative.
Okay.
Okay. Any other? Okay. If not, is there a motion?
Motion to approve agenda item 4.2
Excuse me, 4.1.
or 4.1.
Yeah.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Agenda item 4.2, approve the high-impact event funding request for the second annual Taste of Clearwater hosted by Rotary Club of Clearwater Charities, Inc., to be held on Saturday, April 18, 2026, from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. on the 600 block of Cleveland Street in Station Square Park.
Good afternoon, Vicki Shire, CRA Division Manager. Staff is presenting a high-impact event request for the second annual Taste of Clearwater hosted by the Rotary of Clearwater. This one-day event is scheduled for Saturday, April 18th, 2026, from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. at Station Square Park and the 400 block of Cleveland Street. The admission is free and the estimated attendance is 3,000 plus. The applicant previously received $30,000 in funding in 2025 for the Taste of Clearwater. The applicant is requesting $30,000 in funding to include portable restrooms. However, the other eligible direct production costs that they want to, that's under the guidelines. Staff recommends funding an amount not to exceed $20,625, which excludes portable restrooms unless otherwise approved by the board. The applicants are here to provide any information you guys have at this time, so I'd like to invite them up to the podium.
Hello, I'm Jim Clark. We want to thank you for your support to our event last year. We did have less than expected last year, but we did have a good turnout of at least 2,000 event goers. They were there a majority of the day. They did take in the activities and the music throughout the whole event. So thank you. I want to introduce Britt Maxwell.
Hello. This year, we made a strategic decision to relocate our event from Coachman Park to the 600 block in Station Square. As we evaluated our growth and community engagement goals, it became clear that this new location offers a footprint that better aligns with the scale and character of the event. The shift also creates a more immersive experience by bringing attendees directly into the heart of downtown Clearwater, increasing visibility and meaningful foot traffic for our local merchants and brick and mortar businesses. This is an important step in strengthening the connection between the event and the downtown redevelopment area, ensuring the event serves as a true driver of community vitality. In support of that mission, we are also waiving the entry fee for brick and mortar businesses within the redevelopment district, making participation more accessible and encouraging broader local involvement. Overall, this move allows us to deepen our impact, support our business's community, and better position the event as a catalyst for downtown engagement. Stephanie?
Hi, everybody. So we recognize and want to say how much we appreciate staff's support and recommendation of our event. We did have one thing we wanted to talk to you about as a request. So the current guidelines don't allow for the rental of restroom trailers and hand washing stations. So as previously discussed, we've moved our event this year to Station Square Park and the street where there are no public restrooms. And so without renting portable restrooms, attendees would need to rely on nearby business facilities. We believe this would place an undue burden on our local businesses and is neither practical nor fair to them during this high-traffic community event. Because of the food, because we're going to have food and food vendors and food service, hand washing stations, we feel, are a mandatory health and safety requirement. So they're not just, they're tied to public health, to public safety, and responsible event management. For these reasons, we would respectfully request that these costs be considered allowable and eligible for payment under the DDB grant, and we would request an additional $5,000 to the recommended allocation to our grant to cover these costs, making the total grant request $25,625. So we're happy to answer any questions. Did I make sense? Okay.
Okay. Councilmember Albright.
Well, you said you were moving it to Station Square, which I think is great because it's underused, and I think it's a nice place to have that event. I agree. I think we need to make it allowable to have restrooms because anytime you're not using Coachman Park that has all the restrooms in there, I think that we should discuss it and maybe make that allowable. So I'll let everybody else talk first and then before I make a motion.
Thank you.
Yes, this weekend was pretty busy downtown, and when I went and visited the brick and mortar businesses, they were also expressing their concern on the burden of having all those people from outside coming to use the restroom. So I do want to open up that dialogue. I think it should be one of the covered expenses. The question is how much. I kind of did a preliminary research, anywhere between $300 to $500 a porta potty, depending how big they are. So I do want to open up that dialogue, and I think it should be covered.
Okay. Councilmember Cotton.
Thank you all. Appreciate you, what you guys do. I'm also for having this discussion. I think that we need to be smart because we're starting to set a precedence, right? So once you open it, that's just going to go trickle down. We have Salsa at the district. I would assume that they will ask for porta potties as well. You know, they've been doing their event for how long, and how many people do they bring in, and where are their people using restrooms? It's just one of those expenses that once you put it in there, you're never giving it back. So when we're dealing with tax dollars and those types of revenue sources, we need to think, what are other places doing? How are they overcoming those concerns? And what does that look like? That's just one of my hesitations with starting this new precedence. And it's nothing against you all, I'm sorry. But that's just where I kind of go. And if it's $5,000, is that what we're going to set it to? Or do we do our own research and have staff come back to us with a appropriate case and cost? I just don't know. I don't know. I'm not sold that we should necessarily put our foot in that when other events are happening and have happened in Station Square and have not had this request yet. So look forward to talking through this with you guys.
Yeah. Councilmember Albrecht.
I know I used to have events downtown as well, and it was required, especially in the street downtown, that I had to, supply restrooms. And I know we always put them was on Garden Avenue, kind of off south of Fort Harrison. That's where we lined them up. And I just covered the cost with people that were giving money to help I can't remember back, it's been a while, but I don't know if the city actually paid for that. They required it, but I don't think they paid for it. I know that you asked it originally $30,000 for this event, and we're giving you 20. Is there any?
The recommendation is 20.
What's that?
The recommendation is 20.
Well, that's the recommendation, that's right. Are there any other sponsors that could help you on this particular thing?
So we have a variety of sponsors. We've listed them in the application, and this is a fundraiser event. So if the money that you're giving if everything holds true in the budget, this event will make $0. Right,
I understand. And that was kind of the way that I did it too. At the time I was on the DDB, and I was doing these events to bring people downtown and to help the businesses. But I know you're going to need restrooms, and it's going to be, even though you have a zero thing, I think I would be more apt to saying I'd like to give you the money for it, but I don't know what the cost. Now, you're not talking about just like porta potty restrooms, you're talking about restroom trailers?
Right. And to be fair, there's two things. There's how much you allocate and how much we submit for reimbursement. I mean, so if it comes in, if you allocate $5,000 to it, but it only comes in at $325 or $3,000, then we're only going to get reimbursed for $3,000. We only get reimbursed for receipts that we submit.
Yeah. Okay, well, I'd be more apt to doing this because I want this to be a successful event, and we don't want to do something that's structurally going to entice people downtown and then have them nowhere to go to the bathroom. So I think I would be more apt to giving that to you, so.
Councilmember Menino.
Thank you, Mayor. Thanks for coming in, and thanks for everything that Rotary does for our community. Whatever discussions we have regarding restrooms should not take away from the fact of what you and your team and your group do for our community, so thank you. Restrooms are undeniable in a downtown event, there is no question. We were down there this weekend, and it was awesome, and it was on fire. And restrooms were a bit of a challenge for some of the brick and mortar restaurants. There were lines and people that maybe not eating or drinking there, but needed to use the facility. So there is no doubt that that is important. I think when we get ourselves in these discussions talking about events, we always have to keep in mind that, you know, one event isn't the same as another event. They are different, and this is a nonprofit and a charity in our community. Again, the only money that is ever made is going directly back into the community in some form, and we know how our Rotary Club operates. I'm supportive of this, whatever the council decides as far as allocating for those restrooms, whether it's 25, 625, or a different figure. I am supportive of it, and I appreciate you. I do also support the move up to 600 block. Our park is absolutely beautiful, and we know that, but if it's not the right size event for that footprint, it gets dwarfed sometimes. If you have 600 people in Raymond James Stadium, it looks like a complete failure. But if you have 600 people at Station Square, it looks completely different. So that footprint makes a difference. I think that was a wise decision to move up there. So I look forward to being there again as I was last year.
Thank you.
Vice Mayor?
So allowing the coverage of the porta potties, to me, I look at it as flexibility. Not all events will need it, right? But I don't think it's adding to the cost specifically, because we still have control of how much we allocate. We're just trying to give or I would like to give as much flexibility to each person that comes up here. For you, porta potties is going to be important. For others, it's not. But I do want to give everybody an opportunity to be successful. And I don't think it's fair to the brick and mortar restaurants to have a line out the door for people who are not their customers. And so I would like to include it, but not specifically give it a money amount, and just we, on each case by case, can allocate the amount that we feel comfortable.
Yeah, well, I haven't weighed in yet, but I agree with Councilmember Cotton to some extent that it's more about the overall number than it is, you know, it really, it's for you all to figure out your budget. And when I look here, and I mean, part of the reason, you know, a number of us attended, the reason that you're moving it at a smaller location is last year it dwarfed the attendance that you had. So, I mean, it was lighter than expected. You all would anticipate that. So some of these other expenses in light of that attendance last year, I know what was paid for the Sea Blues Festival for performers, and I understand that the entertainment's not only the performer, there are other things that go into this. But that's a pretty heavy expense compared to what was just paid to, I think, I mean, that was $10,000 was about as much as they, except for one performer, that's more than anybody else got for performing. And these were national performers. One of them was a headliner. They got about that amount. So I understand you need to have music and entertainment there. That adds to that. But I would just ask you to look at some of these other budget expenses and see if maybe there's some way to work the restrooms in without, you know, asking or getting more from DDB. Certainly, downtown development wants to support the community, but really the purpose of this board is to support the businesses downtown. So although, you know, you are going to, and we're happy that you're making some money off this that goes back in the community, it really is money that we're directed to use just for the downtown businesses. So that's my only question. Do you think there's some other room in the budget? Yeah.
Mayor, if I may weigh in on the musical act part of this, a lot of the draw that we're hoping for this event, not only with the supporters that we already have for the Rotary Club of Clearwater, but also for people that are music enthusiasts, restaurant enthusiasts, and the fact that the music that we had this last year, it was lovely, it was fun, but they weren't noticeable, recognizable acts. So it really was more of an ambient music. And with that, we paid for the stage, the AV system, and those things that were supportive of the budget, or by the budget, I'm sorry. So with this, because we don't need the stage being at beautiful Station Square, but we still would need the AV, we still would need the bands, and hoping for at least 2 established bands to be participating, along with the involvement of the Clearwater Jazz Holiday, Young Lions Jazz, as like the opener, which is supported by their program already. So to have two bands that are recognizable, bringing more foot traffic in other than just the Rotary supporters.
Okay. Councilmember Cotton?
Yeah, thank you. And listen, you guys, the Rotary Club is of max importance, right? I mean, the motto is self above service. So I feel terrible with hawkish comments in regards to your event, and I don't
Write this
mean
down.
that. But what I do mean is that, I mean, even though this is an event in which we are going to set a standard, and yes, we evaluate all events based on their merit, but we all attested that bathrooms are rather important. So how are you ever going to go back on saying a bathroom is not important in the future event? And that's just going to be a line item cost that staff is now going to have to evaluate. And again, I hate saying this about you in particular. I know many of you, so it's even tougher, but it's the truth, right? So that's where it's very hard for me to start to add money when majority of our time up here on this board has been, where can we reduce your cost so that your event starts taking off and is self-sustainable? Now, I also know that this is a fundraising event and that it'll also be reinvested within our community, and that you guys are doing great things for our brick and mortar and able to be a part of that. But maybe this will help if you're able to answer this question then, to maybe justify that. You're shooting for 3,000 to 5,000 attendees. That would be awesome. I hope you get 6,000. According to our new technology data, you guys roughly got 1,300 verified in last year's event. So where are we making up that difference, seeing as how we didn't even get to half of what our minimum estimated attendance is currently? Does it come with the axe?
So we were anticipating a much higher attendance, obviously. Our first announcement of the event brought in 11,000 followers on Facebook, which, you know, they could be inflated. Who knows? However, it was instant that they wanted to go to this event. It rained the morning of the event. The grass was soggy. There was no way for that to become dry, which is another reason why we are moving to a street in Station Square, because that dries much more quickly and doesn't ruin tennis shoes. We actually had to delay the beginning of the event, and if you are like most of us, if it's raining that day, you have changed your plans from an outdoor event to now an indoor event somewhere else.
Okay, and lastly, so just so I'm making sure we're clear here, staff has recommended the $20,625. That does not include the $5,000 for restrooms, so you're essentially asking us to up this to $25,625. Okay, thank you all very much.
Vice Mayor?
I have a different view on this. My number one mission is to bring people downtown. It's not to hold anyone accountable to being more economical, have better ROI, or be self-sustainable. I don't care if a successful business or entity comes before me with a successful event and asks me for the same amount for the next 10 years, I'm okay with that. Because to me, my number one priority is to bring people downtown. So let me start off with that. Second, I do want to make a motion to include the porta potties or restrooms as something that we can fund with no set amount, just like every other category, and then we evaluate each case by case. But I do want to include it, so I made the motion.
Okay, what's your total amount?
What's total? Yeah.
No, we determine case by case, just like we don't determine entertainment, and that's a category.
I think the case here, though, is $5,000, so it would be $25,625.
But we have given less than what we want,
So are you asking them to go back and reevaluate what they need and then?
Oh, so you want me?
I don't know, that's what.
I thought, what I was going to do was make a motion to accept it as a line item that will be reimbursed, and then make another motion as to how much we would like to give more. Can we do two motions, or do you want one?
Two motions.
I wanted to separate allowing restrooms to be a reimbursable item, line item, and then the second one would be an actual amount for this specific case.
You can make it in one motion, just say 20,625 plus a reimbursable amount up to,
I would say, I think 2,000 is enough for the porta potties. I did a few phone calls early this morning.
but they're not doing porta potties.
They're doing, but I think with 180 it's like
trailers?
500. Yeah.
Please consider it has to be emergency placement and removal if it's a Saturday event and the event space has not been reserved for both Friday or all Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So it has to be an emergency per unit or altogether, depends on the facilitator. If the restrooms are porta potties delivered that morning, taken away as soon as the event is over, as opposed to hauled away as a trailer.
Yeah.
There's an additional cost, I think is the
Correct.
point, than just a rental of a porta potty. And there are hand washing stations. I don't want to, that's vital to this too.
I do think $5,000 is a hefty ask. We could assist you with that, with $2,000, $2,000, $2,500, but I think 5,000 is a bit much, at least for my comfort zone.
So you made a
So,
motion?
Yes,
motion-
with 2,500 added.
And again, for the motion, it's just for the restrooms for this event, as opposed to for all future events.
I would like it to be reimbursable for all events. And then for this specific case, add 2,500. If you guys don't want to second it.
So you have two motions going.
It's exactly what I was saying before.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
So,
Let's
I'm
just
sorry,
consider the agenda item today.
So the agenda
It's
item
a separate
today,
agenda.
don't we need to make a motion to actually approve something that was not being able to?
For
be
this
approved?
event.
Okay. Make a motion to approve the line item for restrooms up to $2,500 added to staff's recommendation. Is that clear?
Second.
Okay.
Staff's recommendation.
Is there anyone here from the public that desires to speak to this agenda? Okay.
Just for clarity, so we're approving an amount of $22,500.
No. It's 20,625 plus 2,500.
And 2,500 for the restrooms.
Gotcha.
23,125, I think is the number you're looking for.
Thank you.
So it'd be
Thank
the staff recommendation of 20,625 plus up to 2,500 for the restrooms for a maximum grant of $23,125.
Thank you.
Correct.
Okay, any further board discussion? If none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Okay, that'd be all in favor except for Board Member Cotton, who's against. Okay. All right.
Thank you. We'll see you guys in a couple of weeks, months.
Okay, the next item is agenda item 4.3. Approve high-impact funding request for the Florida Orchestra to present a free Symphony by the Sea concert on May 8, 2026, from 7:30 to 9:30 p.m. at the Bay Care Center.
Thank you. This item is a high-impact funding request for the Florida Orchestra to present a free Symphony by the Sea concert. This outdoor concert is scheduled for May 8th, 2026, from 7:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. at the Bay Care Sound. The applicant previously received $50,000 in funding in 2024. The DDB grant policy allows a maximum award of $30,000 for high-impact funding. However, the applicant is requesting $50,000. Staff recommends funding the amount not to exceed $30,000 to support eligible direct production costs. The applicant meets all funding criteria. At this time, I'd like to provide the applicant to answer any questions you may have.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Lori Osborne, and I thank you all for partnering with us the first season for the Symphony by the Sea, and I'm excited for us to do a second annual Symphony by the Sea together. I'm here today to tell you a little about it, along with my colleague, Anita Samaru. I'm also going to use my readers. The second annual Symphony by the Sea will be held Friday, May 8th, as we said, starting at 7:30 at Clearwater Sound. It'll be a free concert for the Clearwater residents and will attract visitors from other areas as well as our tourists. This will once again be a gift for the city of Clearwater as well as TFO. We think that we are going to be building on the momentum from the last season and want to make this event something that the community looks forward to. We will be highlighting patriotic music this time because it is going to be our country's 250th anniversary, as well as those Broadway tunes and movie classics. Our conductor again will be the wonderful Chelsea Gallo, who is also very charismatic. This time, we're going to include more community presence and have asked our partners, community partners, as well as Clearwater Fundamental Middle School to perform a pre-concert program before our musicians take the stage. We are asking community partners to set up information booths and have already confirmed some to include the Clearwater Library Youth Services, Clearwater Marine Aquarium, our club's Edible Peace Patch, Keep Pinellas Beautiful, the Arc of Tampa Bay, Community Dental Clinic, and Lift Academy. Again, we're trying to incorporate our community and enhance community presence there. We are again requesting the $50,000, although we understand that the limit is $30,000. The cost of this performance is approximately $115,000, and TFO will be contributing the remaining $65,000. The $50,000 will significantly help offset the cost to include productions such as the venue rental. That's actually the majority of the cost. It's approximately $38,000. Our entertainment is included in our request of the $50,000, and that's the TFO conductor and some of our musicians. The music rental and music purchase, and then finally our marketing budget incorporates all the $50,000 that we are requesting. Last season, Symphony by the Sea drew approximately 2,100 attendees and was held on a Sunday afternoon. This season, we expect approximately 3,000 attendees. And we understand that you all used a Placer AI to assess that number and got a total of 1,700 attendees. We used a clicker process, and that's how we determined the 2,100. And again, we do plan on using our clicker to track our data again this year for hopes of that 3,000. The guests that will be attending will impact downtown because this is a free event and it's a Friday evening. It will be a family-friendly event, but we also see it as a great date night opportunity. So we can see folks coming and eating at the restaurants, grabbing a drink, shopping some of those local downtown boutiques. Last season, we estimated the economic impact for the first ever Symphony by the Sea to be approximately $64,000. And with this new season, we expect approximately $90,000 of an economic impact. Marketing for this will include listing it in our season brochure, which you all have. So just so you know, we have included it, and we've printed 60,000 copies of our season brochure, and it is distributed throughout the Tampa Bay region. This season, we will also be putting it on our social media platforms, including our website, which garners approximately 1 million views, then our Instagram, which has 12,000 followers, Facebook, TikTok, and LinkedIn. We're also going to be collaborating with our friends over at Amplify Clearwater to bring this event to their newsletter as well as their calendar of events, and our Visit St. Pete Clearwater friends to also highlight this event. We want to say that we think Symphony by the Sea we want it to become a tradition that people in our community look forward to attending, much like we have in our other Pops concerts in St. Pete and in Tampa. Those have been in existence for more than 20 years. We see this growing and becoming a staple to downtown Clearwater as well. And they garner about 10,000 to 15,000 at this point. We're hoping to fill that 8,500 at the Sound, and we know that we can do it. We know the momentum is already going down in downtown Clearwater with the onset of the new hotel announcement and all the great things that are happening. And we see Symphony by the Sea becoming a landmark event for the downtown Clearwater area as well. Thank you.
Okay. Is anyone here before we go any further, anyone here from the public desire to speak to this agenda? Okay. I'm seeing none. Any more discussion? Councilman Menino?
Yeah, Mayor, thank you. Thank you for coming in today and presenting to us. I'm supportive of this event. I think there's a couple reasons why. When we talked about this last year, we talked about high-impact funding for our downtown events. We wanted to have the ability to draw diversity of attendees, and not just, you know, a rock and roll concert or a Christmas event in the park, but obviously the orchestra is something diverse in its attendance. We wanted something that necessarily wasn't charging a gate fee that we're supportive of. That way you're offering our community and our families something affordable that they can go do. And the other thing that was important to us was really making sure that it was not just free, but there wasn't food and vending kind of thing, so that they do support our local brick and mortar stores. And, you know, when it's a food, vending, beer drinking event, so often, unfortunately, they do not walk up Cleveland Street and support our vendors. Something like this, I think we found in the history of the Sound, is that people do come down early and have dinner and have drinks, and then maybe afterwards go home and have dinner. So I do appreciate it. I get stuck on two things: a $38,000 fee to rent that place. I know that's not your fault. I'm not blaming you for that. That one's a struggle, but it is absolutely beautiful, and that calendar is booked, so there is a value, a supply and demand. I do get that. The attendance, I wish that with you that was, you know, double. I can see where a software program that monitors cell phones on a Wi-Fi basis, you know, not everyone carries a phone into the show, or there might be kids that don't have cell phones, right? So it's not getting, and when you're clicking it, you know, you might be getting a more accurate number. I wish that number was a little bit higher for $50,000, but I am supportive of this event. I wish you the best, regardless of what denomination this board approves.
Thank you.
Councilman Robert?
Okay, I'm very supportive of this event. In fact, I was here when we talked about building the Sound, and I wanted to make sure the stage was going to be big enough for the Florida Orchestra.
Thank you.
And we did. We had lots of discussion on expanding it to the size it is now for you guys. What I'm sorry about is,
This?
again, as Councilman Menino says, the cost of performing in the Sound now. I mean, we weren't thinking about that back then. We thought, oh, the Florida Orchestra come in, they could use it too. And it's just too bad it worked out like that, because it's more expensive. It's too expensive for a lot of things we'd like to would have done there. But I can tell you that stage was built for the Florida Orchestra. And so I'm going to support you 100% on this, because it wasn't just me. Everybody was very supportive of it back then when we talked about it, and I know they're supportive now, so I'm going to support you all the way on it.
Thank you.
Councilmember Cotton?
Yeah, hey guys, real quick question for you, because you said 38,000 was the rental. It looks like it's $40,022, is that correct?
That's right, but part of it is not covered under the item details for the budget, so stagehand and other costs is not covered under it.
So we'll incur that
Understood.
cost.
Gotcha. So was it just 38,000 even then?
It's 37,
It's actually 37 something. We did provide a budget for you, and under there. there's-
$37,790.
Yep.
It's going through your budget, I didn't see that. I'll take your word for it. Listen, I think that as Councilmember Menino and Councilmember Albritton have expressed, that I think the Florida Orchestra is a key service provided to our residents, and I think that it has a value that you really can't put a number on. With that being said, I would be willing to make a motion to cover the entire expense of that for them for this event. And then now that we do have the new AI, you know, Placer AI, I know you guys are doing clickers and all those fun things. But at least we'll start to be able to track data. And then, you know, it's less than the 50,000 we gave last year. Next year, we'll get some more numbers from that database to see whether or not we're getting more people in, especially with the different time change and date. And then continue to help make better decisions going forward with funds and what we can do. So I would be good with matching the amount of the cost for the venue for them.
Your motion is to
What was that cost
approve the requested amount.
50,000 is.
No,
what
I'm
we-
sorry.
oh,
The amount for the venue, for Bay Care Center. Take care of the
$37,790.
$37,790. So it's above what staff recommended, but it's at least take off that expense.
So what will be the total amount then?
$37,790. Would that work?
What-
I hear a
what-
bunch of flipping.
Yeah, what was the recommendation to?
The recommendation was just 30.
38,000. That's a round number.
Probably easier.
Yeah. Just round it up to 38.
Councilmember Albritton, you said 100% support. What does that 100% mean?
50,000.
At 50,000, okay.
I didn't realize that's what that meant. Hey, his is better than
I
mine.
can say that this, because we're a nonprofit,
That's what I thought, when you said 100%.
this
Before I
event is a
weigh-
break even for us,
Before I-
so we're not
before I-
making any.
Before I weigh in, we'll just see if there's a second. Okay, no second, so the motion
That's
dies
fine.
for
Yeah,
lack of a
that's okay.
second, okay?
I think they were doing some
Yeah.
cost
I thought we were
analysis
doing
over there.
So, somebody else want to weigh in before I weigh in?
Any other thoughts?
I'll just say, I've had, I know, one of them, Vice Mayor was with me, I think for the Pinellas County Schools program over at Ruth Eckerd Hall, seeing Ruth Eckerd Hall filled with 2,000 kids, their first experience ever with classical music and orchestras. And then I also attended the Steinbrenner concert. There's, the Steinbrenner family has one in Tampa and one at Ruth Eckerd Hall. And I'm glad to see you incorporating younger performers, and because I think that's what this is all about. It's our way to educate, bring families into the sound, to see a different kind of music and to enjoy that as a family and to learn together. And so I really think it's great in that regard. And then you did mention America 250, which
right.
I'd like to see more of the community doing as a whole, just not just this, but other events, really putting that stamp on it as we approach 4th of July to celebrate America 250. So I think that's another important aspect that maybe sets it apart a little bit. And hopefully we can bring those families, as we've been doing with, I keep talking about the world famous rubber duck, but I mean, so many families, not just that, you know, different events they've just experienced our park and discovered it, and hopefully through this event, they'll come back and experience it again. So I support the request as well. So,
Thank you.
okay, any other board member want to weigh in? Okay.
I agree. It looks like a great event, and I think it's definitely going to be very valuable for downtown. And I agree with Councilmember Marina. Looking at the local food trucks, concessions, and bars, with the 3,000 people attendees, and I understand the cost. Obviously, renting out the sound is not the, you know, it comes with the cost. So. I just wish I would see more support to the businesses that are in downtown. There are a lot of ideas that, you know, I'm pretty sure all the merchants over there will be open to it or open to hear it. But overall, I think it's a great event.
Yeah,
Looking forward
like I
to
said
attending.
before, I see this as becoming a tradition so that we can continue to grow, and we aspire for this to become something that all the community, visitors, tourists, more than to the downtown. I mean, obviously, we want the downtown folks to get it, but as this continues to grow, you're absolutely right. Everyone throughout Clearwater and Pinellas, those brick and mortars, could participate and enjoy something like this. And to Mayor's point, thank you so much for highlighting that, because our mission is to educate, inspire, and unite through the community, through the power of music. And so we absolutely want this to be a family-friendly event. We included the fact that leave your picnic baskets at home, because we have all the things you need and want here, right here in downtown, to eat, drink, and enjoy. So, yeah, thank you so much.
Well, the other thing I would say, though, I do agree. I mean, it has been our goal, and you talked about long range, you know, traditional event, whatever. We would like to see it grow to the point where sponsors are really eager. You know, they see
Yes.
the families there, they see the attendance, that as we go along, we've made it our request to try to find those corporate partners and sponsors who will, you know, allow us to scale down our contribution to it, because we hope that it's so successful that there many are willing to participate and want their name on as a proud sponsor.
Yeah.
Okay?
I think Vicki has some numbers just real quick for me.
correctly, we did calculate just the venue cost. It is $37,790,000 for
Okay.
the venue rental.
But am I hearing this correctly? You guys are going to make a motion for the 50? Is that what's happening?
I believe it sounds like it's going that direction.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm looking
But
like
you
a-
haven't made your motion, have you?
Is it my turn?
He did, but it
He
died.
died in
Okay,
Lebanon.
all right. So I'll make a motion to give them 50,000 for this event.
Second.
Okay, any further discussion? If none, all in favor?
All right?
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Okay, all in favor, except for Board Member Cotton?
Thank you all so very much, and we look forward to seeing you all on May 8th.
Thank you.
Do you move the like?
That will
best
move to item
organizations?
4.4,
And I
event
just
recap for
said
Fall
no.
Y'all,
Tax man.
Jingle Bell Family Fun Fest, and Tasty Tampa Bay.
Vicki Shire, CRA Division Manager. At this time, I'd like to play a video that was produced by Intensity Academy to show their highlights of their past recaps.
I don't. I feel great right now. I need the Grinch costume.
You're gonna get it.
Fall Y'all Festival in downtown Clearwater.
Coachwood Park in downtown Clearwater.
Thank you so much, Council, for supporting our past events. We've had 3 beautiful, family-friendly events. We try to have our events very upbeat, very exciting, always focusing on family. We don't have alcohol, we just have a lot of fun. We do tons of contests that include the kiddos and lots of fun things on stage. We also really like to support our downtown restaurants and shops. We always offer them a free booth at our events, and we always offer to distribute flyers or anything to give away as well. So I also wanted to, we just made a quick video so you could see all 3 events, but I did have a little clip of a song that Vice Mayor had asked for me to play, so I'm gonna play it real quick. It's one of the 5 songs that we made that included downtown Clearwater, so let's see if we can hear it.
Sunrise on the causeway, windows down. Weekend on the calendar, circle now. Coachman Park, calling my name. Got my friends, got my shades, got my appetite blazing. Downtown is buzzing, you can feel that pull. Little waves in the harbor, whole sky full of meet you by the gate, text light in my screen. I can taste it already, yeah, it feels like a dream. Tasty Tampa Bay, turn it up, we're on our way.
So that was just a little clip of it. If anyone wants to have a whole song, we can email it. We'll also have it on our social medias under Saucy Queen on Instagram and Facebook. So we feel that we have really had a great time in downtown Clearwater, highlighting all the fun that there is to do. We do a lot of TV media. Thank you, Mayor, for being a part of that. And we try to get on every TV station. We've been on Dennis Phillips and Fox and ABC and Bay News 9. And we feel that all of that impact is even more than just the event, before, during, and after. So we hope to continue to do events with you guys. Our social media, we've had tons of like attendance with that. So for Fall Y'all, we had about 14,000 on our page. Jingle Bell, about 12,000. Tasty Tampa Bay, about 17,000. And it was posted in over 400 community groups something that's really different and cool about my company is that I have a group of influencers that I work with, and they blast it everywhere. One of my influencers has 181 million views on Google alone, and he was our main influencer that was doing Facebook Lives all throughout the events that we do. And then a lot of our vendors did all 3 events that we did, and they absolutely loved it. They said, we had no idea. Oh my gosh, this is just amazing. And then as far as impact, I have the very, very great pleasure of introducing the grand champion of the Tasty Tampa Bay Festival, Loud Deli, and they can tell you the impact it's had. They've had the most beautiful dish, the best bites in all of Tampa Bay.
Between 34,
No, it's 39.
39.
39 different dishes they won.
Wow.
Yep.
Congratulations.
Hello everyone, my name is Nola, and yes, Somsai.
All right, well,
We're Loud Deli.
yes, I'm Somsai with Loud Deli and partnered up with Sony and Nola, and we operate inside of Chiang Mai Thai Sushi in downtown Clearwater. Thank you again, council members, for all that you do. Thank you to the Clearwater Downtown DDB, and of course, Michelle Saucy Queen, because this opportunity provided us a platform to really, really represent underrepresented Asian
I had the
food.
volume up from the song, sorry.
Yes. And the Asian food, of course, we're Lao American. And this is a food that's not relatively known. And we want to be a feature and a highlight here in downtown Clearwater to pull those folks in that want to try something new, fresh. And it comes locally sourced from our farm in Wachula, most of the ingredients. So it's another local tie. So thank you again for, support and, providing a platform for us. Thank you again.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And my influencers are still they still have footage that they're tagging them on, and Coachman Park and Clearwater. So we just wanted to thank you guys so much, and we hope to do some events in 2026 as well.
Thank you for coming back in right after event and sharing with us the results. That's so meaningful to us.
It is.
We have some events where, folks are, a little hesitant to come back in and talk about who actually attended, but you always do.
Thank you.
Whatever numbers you give us are pretty close to whatever
Yeah.
are. Yet we just love your transparency.
Thank you.
And I can say, you bring attention. I don't know we've had any other event from a event operator that's come in that gets more media attention. You have a great relationship, as you said, with all the media. So great that before the Tasty Tampa Bay, I think you've done, I don't know, all the media you can possibly do. And at 4 o'clock on a Friday, I
Yes.
tune into Fox 13, and there's one of your food truck
Right.
vendors in studio cooking,
Yes.
and she gave you the highest compliment.
Aw.
She said, yes, I'm doing this event for Michelle. She said, Saucy Queen, all of her events are always fantastic. We can trust her as vendors to come in, and she gave you the highest compliment,
That's
which
so
the
nice.
respect from those vendors that are paying to participate. So
We
can't
treat our
thank you enough.
vendors like family,
Yeah.
so
And the number of times Coachman Park was mentioned, and Clearwater, downtown Clearwater, just thank you.
thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you all.
And thank you for coming today.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right. Okay, with that, we'll move to, yeah. Lena?
Can I add some comments?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I'm very excited about this. I am so genuinely impressed with your events. I went on Saturday, and like usual, right, there's all the sounds and the smells. What I didn't expect was that song to come up,
Wasn't that
that
so
song,
great? Yeah.
so loud. And I was walking slightly in front of my husband, I just stopped, and he bumped into me, and I was so excited, I came and see you right away. But truly, so well executed. Clever marketing strategy, using all those influencers as judges, brilliant. TV, the radio personality as your MC, keeping that energy really high, fabulous. Of course, the tune was great. And of course, I'm so thrilled, Nola, Chiang Mai. Congratulations again. So thank you so much. I really enjoyed it. Wonderfully executed.
Thank you so much.
And the vice mayor is, some of us consider, she is very good at karaoke. So next time when we need a vocalist for the,
stage,
there we go. We will, I'm just saying, I'd reach out to her. Thank you for coming.
I'm gonna get back to you. I'm gonna put a pin on that.
You don't have to stand on the table.
Move to agenda item 4.5, event recap for St. Petersburg College Fresh Start Month.
The applicant is not able to attend the meeting today, so this item will be pushed back to a later date, DDB meeting, if that's okay.
Move to item 4.6, approved community event funding request in the amount not to exceed $6,760 for Sharkapalooza 2026, a free, family-friendly, art-driven ocean conservation festival at Coachman Park on May 16, 2026.
Vicki Shire, CRA Division Manager. Before I go into the agenda item, I know there's been a lot of requests and stuff today, and you've had a lot of pamphlets, so I just want to let you guys know the blue folder is from these lovely ladies. So if you guys like to open them up, you're more than welcome to use them. Staff is presenting a community event funding request for Sharkapalooza. That will be held on May 16th, 2026. It's a free event from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. at Coachman Park. Estimated attendance is 1,000 plus. The applicant is requesting $15,000 in DDB funding. Staff recommends funding an amount not to exceed $6,760 to cover eligible direct production costs in accordance with the DDB grant policy and procedures. The applicant is here to provide any additional information you may have at this time.
Thank you. Good afternoon. My name is Jessica Adnich, and I am the founder and executive director of Sharkapalooza. Sharkapalooza is officially a nonprofit as of the first of the year, which we are very, very excited about. Sharkapalooza is a vendored art juried show along with ocean conservation. I started it in 2022 because I felt like there was a gap and a bridge that could be made between art, science, and education. The youth of our country and our world, the best way for them to get involved and care about our ocean and our environment is to start them small and inspire them. Art is a great vehicle to do that. As of right now, the Florida Aquarium, the Clearwater Marine Aquarium, Moat, are all on board. They're going to be there along with other nonprofit ocean conservation organizations to have interactive exhibits. And also OSearch, which is our conservation benefactor partner, which if you know anything about sharks, they are nationally and internationally known for their shark research and conservation. They're going to be on site and help us with marketing.
Hi, and I'm Michelle. I'm the president of our board of Sharkapalooza, and I own a home in Clearwater. I work at a business here in downtown Clearwater. It's called Direct Mail 2.0. We were actually the February business spotlight. Thanks again, Tasha. Yeah. And I also am a yoga instructor on Clearwater Beach at Clearwater Beach Yoga. I do the beach cleanups. I've seen the mayor out there. We've partnered already with Keep Pinellas Beautiful. They're going to have a booth at Sharkapalooza. We're cross-promoting with their May beach cleanup on May 8th so that we can be there talking to people about Sharkapalooza. They're going to be talking about our event. And I'm head of marketing at a Direct Mail 2.0, so I just have some marketing expertise as well. So we're just really trying to get this out there in the world. I'm always walking around downtown Clearwater on my lunch break. And last Tuesday, I went to all the downtown merchants. And I went to all of them, gave them our flyers and our posters, and talked to them about ways that they could get involved with Sharkapalooza for May 16th, but then other ways that they can get involved like throughout the year. Like this is like our main flagship event, but we want to maybe do things all throughout the year, maybe smaller events in downtown, maybe on the 400 block, the 600 block. The possibilities are endless. This is kind of just a starting point for us.
And in terms of marketing, as Michelle said, she's the vice president of marketing for her company. I also have a design and marketing agency that's been in existence for over 7 years. Prior to that, I ran the marketing and design division for Mace brand pepper spray. It's a very large brand. So I bring that up because all of the materials in front of you and the website I actually designed, Michelle helped create. So in terms of the budget, that's not going to be a line item. Any marketing dollars that come in from funding through you guys, and also our sponsors are going to go to actual paid advertisements, radio, commercials, social media. And I just want to say that this is not going to be just a one-off event. My goal, our goal, as crazy as it sounds, is to make this the next biggest art and ocean conservation festival nationally. The fact that OSearch is our partner is massive. Our goal is to do national advertising. Clearwater is known as one of the best beaches in the world, so why not be known as one of the cities that actually cares about its health and its existence. Thank you.
Okay. Is anyone here from the public that desires to speak to this agenda item? If not, is there any board discussion?
Just
Vice
a quick
Mayor.
question, and I'm sorry if I missed it. Have you thought of having a partnership with Ocean Allies?
We did reach out to them, and we actually, for all of the nonprofits in the arts and ocean conservation world, we are offering them a complimentary 10 by 10 booth. So based on our mission and our core values, we felt like it was important to have all of the community, you know, our pillars are art, education, conservation, and community. So to offer to nonprofits a free space for them to come, you know, everybody's gonna play well in the sandbox. So yes, we did reach out to them.
Perfect, thank you.
Okay. Councilmember Cotton.
Yeah, I think this is a great idea, guys. I know that my kid is going to love it. Real quick with your goal and sponsorship donations down here, these are secured sponsors, right? So where it says
No,
two
so if you,
or-
and that's why I made this, because I wanted to make it clear that, you know, this is our first time doing it. We don't know what we don't know, and we're not gonna recreate the wheel where it's not necessary, but there are areas that we're learning, and one of it was submitting this application to you. That area is our goal, but if you actually look at the page previous to that, that's our bank account. Talk about transparency, I screenshotted it. It's our bank account and our savings account. And with Michelle, you know, nonprofits can be started and run very poorly, and there's a lot of things done wrong, but we want to do things correctly. So I wanted to be transparent, so this is currently the money that we have. We are doing everything that we can, very guerrilla marketing, boots on the ground. We have these wonderful shirts that I cricketed, because I also, you know, being an arts and designer, I craft stuff. We're out in the community every single weekend, going to events, meeting people, making those connections, because we want to use our money wisely. The fact that I hit on that we're both in marketing is that those dollars are going to be strategically used, not willy-nilly.
So if you get the 6,700 versus the 15, what gets cut from that top budget?
I'm gonna be really honest, because I'm honest to a fault. In my own business, I often talk myself out of clients, but what we can't pay for will be going on a credit card in my personal name. Not that I'm here to give you a sob story, but I believe in this work. I've been doing it since 2008. I'm originally from Cleveland, Ohio. I moved to the area to do this work. I feel very passionate that you don't have to be a marine biologist to make a difference. And the health of our oceans is incredibly important. You know, sharks are like the bees of the ocean in the sense that if all the sharks die, we are ultimately screwed, to be blunt. So the things in the budget, obviously we need to pay for the park, we need to pay for barricades, for security and safety, police, insurance, because I want to make sure that it is a safe event and that we do have our butts covered. But anything that we can cut will be cut. That answers your question.
No, it does, thank you.
Yes. And we are also, in addition, working with Cheryl Monday, who's the executive director of Right Whale Festival, which has been going on for 17 years in Jacksonville. They have grown massively over the years, so we have been shadowing her. I personally have a business coach from Action Business Coaching that is donating their time because we're a nonprofit. So I'm going through coaching to build. I've never built a nonprofit. This will be my third company, but never a nonprofit one. So we're getting all the expertise and help that we can from anyone that is willing to help.
And this is the 5th year that Jess has done Sharkapalooza, but it's always been at like a small venue, like a brewery or a winery or a private business. And when she said to me that this year she wanted to make it a city festival, I just immediately thought of Clearwater. She lives in South Tampa. I've always lived in Clearwater. We could do it in Tampa. We could do it in St. Pete, Dunedin, Safety Harbor. We thought about some of the other options, but I said we have to do this in Clearwater. Like, I think it'd be perfect. So, but we just need the support.
Okay, Ms. Morrow.
Yeah, you can go on. Thank you.
Ms. Morrow.
Appreciate you. Thanks for coming in. I think you're in the right place. I hope you don't move to Tampa with it. We know how important our beaches and waterways are here. We depend on our tourism industry so vitally. Having an event, like I talked about earlier, free to the public is important to this board. Family friendly is important to this board. Environmentally, ocean conservative and educationally is very important to this board and to the region. I'm supportive of it. I like your marketing material. I love your transparency. Geez, you gave us a snapshot of your personal bank account. I don't think anybody does that. In fact, they come in and they fib and tell us lies all the time about numbers and expectations. I hope you truly are undervaluing your turnout. 1,000 people. I think that should be just. I know how many kids in the schools love sharks and shark shirts and hope you find a way to really get the kiddos and the families. I know
Right.
Yes.
Councilmember Cotton said his boy would absolutely love it. So I'm supportive. I look forward to it and look forward to being down there. Wish you the
Thank
best
you.
in it.
Thank you very much. And to that number, you know, I feel and we feel that we'd rather under-promise on numbers than come in here and say we were expecting 10,000 and only 5 showed up. That's obviously not gonna be the case. I was just on Tampa Bay 10 this past week. In this month, 'cause it's March, I will be on O-Search, their after-hours program, which is televised nationally, internationally. I'll be on there with Chris Fisher, who's the actual founder of O-Search. So we're doing marketing initiatives with our partners that don't cost. I actually, on my way here, I was on the phone with Cheryl from Right Whale Festival, and she did a survey of 500 people, and they spent a lot of money on a print ad, and not one person responded that they heard that the print ad was how they heard about the festival. So we really are trying to do best practices, and knowing that we know marketing, you know, radio commercials, but boots on the ground. So I'm really hoping that it probably will be more than 1,000. I feel good about it, but again, I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, another thing, you know, just looking down here again at your food trucks and those types of things, I think it's great, but I think you've heard the tone that we obviously want to make sure that our brick and mortar downtown restaurants are being recognized and people are utilizing those things. Would you guys be willing to offer them one of these 10 by 10 booths or whatever the setup would be down there, no charge to them, to give them exposure?
Yes, we could definitely do that, and this year, it's gonna be a one-day event, because no pun intended, we didn't wanna bite off more than we could chew. Last year, we had 15 vendors, and it was at a community center, so now to be taking over the entire, and at first, it was just gonna be the upper or the lower part of the park, and now we're like, we're just gonna go big and take the whole thing over. So, next year will be a 2-day event, which means more heads and beds with the national marketing. We'll have a full year of marketing done. But yes, we do wanna work with local businesses and merchants, and we definitely want to plan other fundraising events, art events, conservation events, working with those businesses. The reason that we are going to have beer, wine, and the food trucks on site is, let's be real, it's the beach, it's a Saturday, and it's also an art fest. That's going to help our vendors by allowing people to get a beer, glass of wine, or a slushie, or whatnot, walk the event, they stay a bit longer, they might buy more artwork, because then that means that we're going to have more vendors if the show is also successful for the artists.
And I just know from my personal experience, I mean, I go to Market Marie every month, and we go to Clear Sky before we go to Market Marie, and we have breakfast. And then we go to Market Marie, and we'll get some snacks. And then we go to Tequila's after Market Marie, and we get tacos. So the downtown businesses, I mean, they still get my business, even though I go and frequent food trucks at the Coachman Park also. But the food truck that we do have for Sharkapalooza is Giggle Waters. And so they're already down there for the sound at all the concerts. So I'm happy that we just have them because they're like a known local fan favorite. So I think that's cool too.
Okay, Councilman Albrecht.
So looking at this, I love the whole concept of it. I feel like it's kind of like the show Shark Tank, you know, up here, where
We were literally gonna say, my name is Jess.
And I'm Michelle, and we're Sharkapalooza.
there you go.
We're seeking $15,000 of your grant money to support our nonprofit.
No, I love the concept, and you know, years ago, thinking of, and hearing for years all the different concepts that come up here wanting money for things. I really like what you're doing, but I tell you honestly,
Yes.
as a DDB member, this is your first go-round, and we're a little hesitant on giving full amounts of money on first time. You know, if you have a history and you could show us, yeah, look at we thought 1,000 people came, like next year, 1,500 came, or 3,000, or 1,200, or whatever. Then we think about it a little bit better, and is that going to be a success? Are we just giving, because we're giving taxpayer money here. I think it's a great thing, but we got to be careful about that. So, you know, on this one, I think I would go probably what the staff recommends on it. That's kind of where I'm heading right now. So I'll let everybody else finish.
Okay. Councilmember Cotton?
Yeah, I like this idea. I like the fact that, they've got some conservation initiative going. I don't know if anybody realized, but this weekend off Honeymoon Island was a juvenile great white. That's kind of unheard of. So that was interesting, little fun fact. I could see this as being a big draw for families with, young little kids, boys and girls, that just love animals, aquatics. You already have some big names that you are saying are coming down in the aquatic area, being Clearwater Marine Aquarium. Did you say Clearwater Marine Aquarium? I can't remember.
We have all three.
All three,
Florida's,
perfect.
Clearwater and Moat is on board.
Trifecta.
Yeah.
So, I know that I've been Mr. Wonderful today, but I think with this one, I would be more apt to give the whole 15. It is a first-time event, I know that, but I think that this one has promise. So you can see where we're going. If we're giving out $2,500 for toilets, then I'm good with giving 15 for this first-time event and seeing how it goes. And you know what? She's given us her bank account. I think that she's going to be honest when she sees that the event either did well or it didn't do well, and realize that if she's going to come back again and we say no, well, the numbers don't lie, and she'll probably be more understanding of that. But for, $15,000 versus some of the money that we've already spent, I would be okay with going with this one for that event. So I will not make a motion yet. I will continue this discussion, but that's where I'm at.
Go ahead, Mike.
I'm with you, Mr. Wonderful. I agree. I think you might be kind of being punished on that because of what you're saving yourselves as professionals in an industry. So often we see these budgets come in, and the marketing, advertise, print, and media side is really easy to fluff and pad that. And I think you girls came in, and because you can save yourself so much money in that, it's not reflective in this budget. And what's reflecting it is what you're saving. And I think that's, if we took 20% of what you're actually probably putting into it and spending, that number wouldn't be 6,000. It would probably be closer to that.
Well, full transparency, I charge clients $125 an hour for my work. I have 8 national and international design awards. I'm very modest about that, but you are correct. The budget line for professional quality design and our website, it's top of the line. I'm not saying I'm the best, I'm not, but I'm
Too
damn
late.
good, so.
Too late. I agree with you. I think you're kind of being punished on the dollar amount for it. I believe in the event. I believe in what you girls are going to do. I look forward to being a part of it. I'll support you at the full 15, and I think next year we'll have a better idea on how successful it was, and we'll go from there.
Oh, it's gonna be 2 days next year, it's gonna be big.
I agree. I think by not having your expertise as a line item, I think your budget is really low. And I will be continuing to be Miss Fabulous and recommend 15,000 as well.
Thank you.
I'm consistent.
Okay, before we vote, I just want to make it clear for the millions of visitors that come to Clearwater Beach next year, every year, that the juvenile white shark was spotted, great white shark was spotted in Honeymoon Island, which is Dunedin, which is very far away from where Clearwater is. So just for those who don't know the
Very
geography.
far.
Very far away.
Very far.
Very far.
Okay, so is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve $15,000 for Sharkapalooza.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
I can count.
You don't want to throw a name out there? I've been doing it all
Okay,
day.
that'd be unanimous. Okay,
Thank you,
yeah,
Thank you.
very much.
yeah. Look forward to it. Yeah, look forward to it.
Thank you.
I do feel like Shark Tank. Okay. With that, we'll move to item 5.1, the DDB Director's Report for March.
Good afternoon, Jesus Nino, CRA Executive Director for the record. Just because it's so late, your reports have been submitted in your agenda items, so I'm just going to go ahead and forego any type of report, but I'm here for any questions.
Okay. Any questions from the board? No? Thank you. I will say, we really, the recap Michelle gave, those continue to be very helpful to me, and I think I saw some head nods when she was presenting, so thank you for helping pull those together. Those are helpful.
Yeah, great. Great, thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Nothing else to come before the DDB. We'll adjourn the March 2nd, 2026 meeting.
No.
and take a short recess while we switch some nameplates. time we'll call to order the March, microphone on there. Yeah. This time we'll call to order the March 2, 2026 meeting of the City of Clearwater Community Redevelopment Agency. This time we'll move to item 2.1 on the agenda.
Approve the minutes of the February 17, 2026 CRA meeting.
So moved?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Move to item 3 on the agenda. Are there any citizens here today who desire to be heard on any items that are in interest of the CRA that are not on today's agenda? Hearing seeing none, move to item 4.1.
March Business Spotlight, one-stop shop.
Good afternoon, Jesus Nino, CRA Executive Director for the record. I'm going to introduce Ms. Tasha Hadley to come and present Business Spotlight.
Good afternoon. My name is Tasha Hadley, CRA Specialist, and I'm honored to present One Stop Shop located at 311 Cleveland Street as our March 2026 Business Spotlight winner. They serve downtown Clearwater for more than 35 years. Since its opening in 1989, founders Paris and Linda have built a family-run retail store focused on meeting the everyday needs of their clients and their customers. The store carries a wide range of products from office supplies, coffee, vitamins, and specialty items, all selected based on customer feedback. They have built a loyal following with orders coming from around the world. Beyond retail, the business has supported the community through service and volunteer efforts, including leadership on the Downtown Development Board and participation in local charity initiatives. As a Downtown Clearwater evolved over the years, this business has remained a reliable presence. Its continued success shows long-term investment in the district. One Stop Shop supports the city's CRA goals of strengthening local businesses and reinforcing downtown Clearwater as a vibrant destination. The CRA and public communications have created a video highlighting their story. This video is available on our social media platforms, along with a full article available on myclearwatercra.com. At this time, we invite you to view the video feature. Thank you.
I'm Paris Morphopoulos. I'm one of the co-owners and founders of the One Stop Shop.
I'm Linda Morphopoulos. I'm the other owner of the One Stop Shop.
What makes One Stop Shop unique is that we listen to what our customers want, and that's how we decide what we stock and carry in the store. We carry anything from office supplies to snacks to coffee to nutritional supplements. Whatever you want, we've got it.
We like to support local artists, and we get asked quite often if we can carry their products because they would like to see if anybody wants them, and of course we want to give them a shot. So we have 2 racks over there, beautiful, beautiful greeting cards.
We support the local community by functioning as a store that provides the products and services that are needed and wanted. Volunteering for the city's Downtown Development Board. I served on the board for 14 years, most of that time as its chairman, and did what I could to help revitalize the downtown. In addition to that, we also support a variety of charitable functions. We do things like disaster relief when there's hurricanes. We're a donations point to collect donations for hurricane relief. Linda also has been a volunteer in the Say No to Drugs program.
And I volunteer weekly at the Way to Happiness Association of Tampa Bay.
We chose to locate our store in downtown Clearwater. We noticed that downtown was a bit of a retail desert. Unless you got in your car and drove to a mall, you couldn't get the things you wanted.
We have pretty extensive hours for our customers. We're open Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. till 9:30 p.m. and then on Saturday from 8 a.m. till 6 p.m. We're closed on Christmas Day and Thanksgiving, but the rest of the time, we're here.
At this time, I would like to introduce Paris and Linda, owners of One Stop Shop.
Hello, everyone. Well, some of you are very familiar faces. My mentor on the DDB,
quite long ago, believe it. That's the first time I've seen the video, so I'm quite impressed, and I'd like to thank the CRA for producing that. Linda and I are very proud of what we've done at the store over the years. It was a bit of a retail desert and a struggle to maintain a viable business, but we've managed to keep retail alive in downtown Clearwater since 1989. We're very proud of that. So, thank you.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Yeah, good to see you again.
Thank you for your longevity. in
Good to see you.
downtown. Yeah, it's many years, yeah. Through your 70th year. Yeah, thank you for having a long-standing business here.
Oh, I'm sorry, whoops, photo bomb.
Come on.
Wait, don't pull my legs down. Yes, I did. Come on.
It's blanking.
You got it.
Yes, thank you for coming today. Yeah, thank you, Mary. Then we'll move to item 4.2 on the agenda.
Approve a downtown commercial grant to Talichi Food, Inc. for the District Bistro located at 412 Cleveland Street in an amount not to exceed $69,773.02.
Good afternoon, Ann Lopez, CRA Assistant Director. The owners of the District Bistro, which is located at 412 Cleveland Street, applied for a downtown commercial grant for retroactive reimbursement of completed improvements. At this funding level, the grant requires a 35% applicant match. The total project cost was $127,168.11, and of that, $107,343.11 are eligible under program guidelines. Their renovations included mechanical and electrical upgrades, interior improvements, security system updates, essential restaurant equipment, and general property enhancements. As part of the required 12-month look back, staff confirmed that Talichi Food, Inc. previously received a downtown commercial grant reimbursement of $38,196.80 for Olive and Thyme, which was located at 530 Cleveland Street. That business has since closed and a new tenant has assumed the lease. The prior grant issued to the applicant are not transferable to the new tenant, and they carry no responsibility or obligation. And staff is recommending approval of a grant award not to exceed $69,773.02. And I have the owners, Summer and Kevin, who are here to answer any questions.
Hello. Summer Talichi. I know most everybody up there. Hi again, everyone. So this grant's going to be for the District Bistro. How we structured our corporation, put both of our restaurants under one. So we have proceeded to sell that. New owners were able to reopen that restaurant about 2.5 weeks after we did close. So they are utilizing all the improvements that we were able to put in through the grant money that was utilized last year. So thank you all for continuing to support our businesses throughout the years. This is our third one now. So we're very happy to continue to be working downtown. We would like to ask for an additional request for our grant to be included. So we had restaurant repairs that was capped at $5,000 for the District Bistro. Going through the project, that wasn't quite enough. So during our renovations, we exceeded the initial budget for the equipment upgrades because the restaurant had been vacant for many years. We thought it was prudent to replace and upgrade various components to ensure the health and safety for our guests. Specifically, we renovated the beer cooler room to replace all beer lines, and to repair the glycol deck. All these things were not covered in the original grant scope, and we'd like to request that they be included for consideration. These items are non-removable, it's much cooler, and items within it, so they will remain in the restaurant. So we'd like to consider that. The total grant would go up to $129,168.11. And the portion of that is the 65% portion. What would be the portion of that, please?
So if the total your number is different. So if the total project was approved, it would be in 65% grant would be $82,659.27.
Does anyone here from the public desire to speak to this agenda? Hearing seeing none, is there any trustees' discussion? Councilmember Menino?
Nice to see you. It was awesome to be downtown this weekend and to see how busy you guys were. What surprised me was you gave out green blankets to keep people warm. We were trying to figure out where they come from, if everyone came from the same hotel or not, but it was the Beastro, so I appreciate that.
We want people to be comfortable when they're with us.
You guys have done a heck of a job renovating that from what it was before to what it is. It is absolutely beautiful from the moment you touch the front door till the time you walk through and go use a bathroom or something. We've heard nothing but high accolades from every guest that go in there. We're so happy that you're able to make that move down into the 400 block, and it's such a good fit for downtown for that district. So I wish you and Kevin continued success and welcome you to that block, but thank you for putting your time, effort, and your belief in downtown as you guys have for years.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Councilmember Albritton?
Okay, so the additional amount, was that, does it bring it up to 129?
I think I was in error. It's the 127,168.11.
Just worry
Yeah,
about
so
82.60.
their total project of reimbursement or receipts that were submitted to staff totaled $127,168.11. The program has a max of $5,000 for essential restaurant equipment repairs or replacement. And so the difference between the total project cost and what is allowable comes from the restaurant equipment repairs.
Okay, but they have to put a 35% or 35% match?
Correct.
So what would that bring that to, 43?
Yes, so if we went with the total project cost of the 127,168, then the grant would be, the 65% grant would be 82,659.27. Or if we go with staff's recommendation, which is for what is allowed under the program, then the grant would be 69,773.02.
Okay.
Okay, any further discussion?
I just want to give you kudos to you. I know that that spot was empty for so long, and so I can imagine how things were deteriorating inside, especially all those equipment that you had to replace. So I'm cognizant of that.
It sat empty for a while, heat and humidity in Florida. It worked like it does.
You've been open since when? What
End of
month?
September.
So, exceeded expectations, or that
It's
may,
doing
it
very
seems, you're busy every time I'm down there, but I know it's always different, you know, when you're there when everybody else is there, and just,
So we're happy. It's doing really well.
Yeah.
We're starting to see, you know, when we came 3 years ago, started our first restaurant, you could walk the streets on a Friday night, there was nothing. Everybody was down there downtown. I saw most of you guys downtown this weekend. It was lively, it was energy, it was happening again. Where, you know, the restaurants and the teams are working together to bring this music and paying for this in support of the DDB as well. We're bringing our own musicians. So it's been really great to see that turnaround and people coming like, oh, I'm back at Clearwater again. You know, it's not for just, oh, I can't come here anymore. We're starting to see people repeat, want to come back. You know, it's nice to see. It's nice to finally feel that, breaking that there's nothing to do in downtown. Now there's something to do. There's places to go, places to eat, places to listen to music. So it's nice to see that.
I did tell somebody the other day, I mean, you have to be in the right spot, in the right seat outdoors, but you can sit outside your restaurant facing west and see the Gulf of America from your table.
You can.
Again, it's not all the seats, but you can see that far out into the sunset right over the Gulf of America. So you have a very beautiful outdoor area as well.
We're going to continue to improve that. We have some plans to continue
Yeah.
as the season, finally the weather
Yeah.
is cooperating.
Okay. Is there any further, Councilman Albritton?
No, I just wanted to make a motion.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve the grant not to exceed $82,659.27.
Second.
Okay, any further discussion?
82,659.27.
Okay. If not, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous.
Thank you, guys. See you soon.
Okay, with that, we'll move to item 5.1.
Director's report for March 2026.
Good afternoon, Jesus Nino, CRA Executive Director, again for the record. The director's report has been submitted with the item before you, so if you have any questions, I'm here to answer them.
Any questions for the director? I think we're good. Thank you. With that, we'll adjourn the March 2nd, 2026 meeting of the City of Clearwater Community Redevelopment Agency. It's time to call to order the work session of the Clearwater City Council for March 2, 2026. Move to item 2.1 on the agenda.
March Service Awards.
For that, I would like to, put on my script here. Yeah, buried. Here we go. So with that, we'll call forward, we have 2 service awards to present today. We have 5-year employee award first. I'd like to call forward Cedric McAfee from the Parks and Recreation Department. Cedric, here he comes. See if the city manager agreed? Yeah, of course.
Are we not reading?
Well, I've got one here. Well, I guess it's mine. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, here, I've got a letter for you. Okay. We got a, you get the cup? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that was my fumble. But Cedric, appreciate your service to the community. Appreciate it, yeah. That will move to the next one, Employee of the Month Award for March 2026. Now, this one we're going to have right up. So I'd like to call forward Justin Cohen from the Public Communications Department.
We would like to extend sincere
Mike.
appreciation to Justin Colin for his outstanding work and dedication in bringing our new recruitment flyer and hiring video to life. Justin's expertise in filming and photography was instrumental to the success of this project, from capturing compelling visuals to presenting the department in a professional and engaging way. His attention to detail and creative vision helped authentically tell our story. The quality of his work reflects the pride, professionalism, and commitment that the City of Clearwater represents. Because of his expertise and willingness to go above and beyond, we now have high-quality recruitment materials that will help attract future firefighters and paramedics while showcasing what makes our organization an exceptional place to serve. His contributions played a key role to turning this vision into reality. Efforts like this directly support our commitment to being a high-performing government organization dedicated to superior public service. By investing in professional, thoughtful recruitment tools, we are strengthening our ability to attract top talent, bring a strong workforce, and continue delivering the level of service our community expects expects and deserves. Thank you, Justin, for your time, your talent, and your commitment to excellence. Your efforts are truly appreciated and do not go unnoticed. You represent the very best of our organization, and it is because of our dedicated employees like you that make Clearwater continue to thrive. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Justin, yeah. Make sure. Thank you, Justin, for your great work. That will move to item 3.1 on the agenda.
Leadership briefing on Bloomberg Harvard City Leadership Initiative.
Good evening, or actually good afternoon, not good evening yet, Mayor and Council. I am incredibly excited to invite our innovation team up here to describe our project and where it's at so far. I know that many of you have participated in a lot of the activities that we've done, but there's a lot that goes into this process, a lot the team has done, a lot of support that the Bloomberg Harvard team has done for us. And so with that, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Hunter for our presentation.
Excellent, thank you. Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. I'm Hunter Carlson with the Office of Management and Budget. I'm excited to be joined today by our core team to provide you all with a leadership update on the city's involvement in the Bloomberg Harvard City Leadership Initiative. So to provide you all with some context of our identified challenge, the project topic that our core team chose to undertake surrounds the experience that our customers have with the city's permitting services. The city has more than 20 individual types of permitted services, each with their own unique process and requirements. As a team, we've heard from our customers and staff alike that our permitting processes can often be full of unexpected hurdles, and that's why we're focusing on that experience to identify areas for improvement in support of our strategic priority of being a high-performing government. We acknowledge that the permitting process isn't just a regulatory one. It's one with a real-life impact and carries emotional consequences for those we serve. Also, we acknowledge that this shapes the impression that our customers as well as our staff have with the city, and that's why we're really focusing on that experience. So the challenge that we as a city experience today is one of increased demand from those we serve. Despite us observing increases in performance in the processing time of many permit requests, we still hear from many customers that experience frustration with our service. Our primary goal is to focus on that experience and to identify pathways for success for both our staff and our customers alike. So new for this project, the city is guided by our ambitious, impactful mission or AIM framework, which offers the guiding structure for a desired future state around a policy priority area. And at this time, I'd like to welcome up Allie Chandler to share more about our innovative approach and the research design of our project.
Thank you. So my name is Allie Chandler-Bear. I'm the Division Manager of Neighborhoods and Community Engagement. Our AIM, which is our ambitious, impactful mission statement, is grounded in measurable improvements that reduce costs, increase efficiencies, and build confidence in local government. So once that direction was clear, the bigger question was, where do we start? How do we even make the greatest impact that we can? We generated and weighed more than 60 potential focus areas before narrowing in on processes where residents and businesses must seek permission from the city. And we chose that because it has the greatest operational impact and it also directly affects the public. With that in mind, we met with the stakeholders and reviewed data to build a shared understanding of barriers, who is affected, and why change is necessary, or even if change is necessary. We conducted in-depth interviews with staff, residents, and business owners to understand how the process operates in practice and how it's experienced, not just necessarily just how it's on paper. So from those conversations, our lesson became clear, at least one lesson became clear, was that if we're not speaking to the people who use the systems, we may never truly find what needs to change. So even across different interviews, different perspectives, there were consistent themes. Even if it was a resident, staff, we found that a lot of things correlated. By the end of this process, we'll have hosted 5 ideation sessions with staff, residents, and peer cities, generating more than 1,200 ideas that we're now refining and trying to actually turn into a practical solution. We also have one more ideation session tomorrow at the Clearwater East Library. If anyone hasn't had the chance to join, we strongly encourage it. It's a great process, good brainstorm. Again, it's at the Clearwater East Library at 5 p.m. Okay. So using human-centered design has shifted how we approach our work. It's not just about blending data and technology. We've also gotten a deeper understanding of how people move through our systems. One example is the strategic workshop. It was brought up that could we use the principles and facilitation techniques that we learned with something like this? And that thinking actually shaped the first strategy workshop. And it proves that it's not just this one project. We can apply a lot of these principles and techniques to any project that we have. Then this innovative approach, we applied has not only generated new ideas, it's strengthened how we define problems in a very disciplined way. So it reframed our challenges from government versus the problem to residents, staff, and the city, the community together working against the problem. And now Rebecca will share the impact we are beginning to see in the moments that have kind of changed our perspective.
Hello, I'm Rebecca Mulder, Assistant Director for Planning and Development, and I'm one of the core members of this team for the Bloomberg project. And so what I wanted to talk to you guys today is expanding on what has been already told you by Hunter and Allie, is to kind of talk about what we found as we did our work. So we met with the core team, identify the problem frame, and then we explored how we were going to evaluate and implement that into some effective and innovative changes. And what we decided and developed was that we needed to reach out with the citizens, talk to not only residents, but staff, as well as business owners. We needed their perspective, we needed to hear their stories so that we could affect change in a new direction. So within that, we sat down, listened to their individual stories, perspectives, and their experiences within our processes. And those could be anything from a construction project to planning an event, like we heard about earlier today. And what those individual experiences are, were they able to be duplicated, how they made them feel while they went through that process, and was it successful? And we gained a lot of insight into those perspectives, and we stopped thinking about it from our process and started thinking about it from an experience. And so if we're going to affect change and implement new innovative ways to assist our residents and users, we need to think about what that experience is for them and not just our procedures. And so within that, we were able to collect a lot of data and gather some clear insights. We, as the team, developed 7 clear insights across the hundreds of different perspectives and ideas that were collected from those interviews. And one that I wanted to talk about today was the insight of inconsistent paths eroding confidence. And what we mean with that is that if someone is going through a process with the city, is that process something that feels like they're working with us or against us? And is that process something that could be duplicated again? So if they start a process, they do it one time and it feels different the next time, is that, what is that reason? How is that feeling? And looking to really understand their perspectives so that we're not making changes or implementing processes that don't actually address the issues at hand for our residents and our users within the city. And so it kind of changed our mentality of how we're thinking about our processes, because all the departments are regularly making enhancements and changes to their process, but if it's not being translated back to the individuals that are utilizing those services, then it's a missed opportunity, and we're learning some new tactics and approaches within this program to address those and think more creatively and innovatively. So as I talked about before, we had to change our way of thinking and challenge ourselves to ask a different type of question. both internally with our operations as well as asking different types of questions with the residents, with staff, with and with business owners. And we are finding that we're getting different types of answers, different types of ideas that is really quite exciting for the team. And we're starting to implement those and evaluate those insights on how might we make an impact? How might we improve this service? And something that was a negative can become something very positive. And so we're working through, we're synthesizing all the data to really make it a dynamic problem that has clear solutions, and we're getting ready to move into those next phases, which is really exciting. And so with that, I'll hand it back to Hunter, who will kind of lay out what these next steps look like. Thank you.
Thank you. So in terms of our next steps, I want to preface this by saying it's important that as we go into our next phases, we're going to be working with some new ways throughout the city. So some of those ways we may observe as being successful, others not. But I think what's really important for us to keep in mind is that we remain committed to our aim statement as well as that framework that we developed at the onset of the project. So by the end of this month, our team will have completed the ideation phase, in which we transform over 1,200 ideas that we've generated with both our staff and our residents into a set of robust prototypes based on the degree of implementability as well as the potential impact. So later this month, we'll start the prototyping phase, which will carry us all the way through the end of June, in which we will create and prototype and actually implement 2 innovative solutions with both city staff and residents. These solutions are designed to drive tangible improvements throughout our community as well as internally among our staff. And then this is a multi-year process, so by the end of it, we'll have developed 8 to 10 recommendations that, as we go throughout the coming years, we'll assess for the, again, the degree of implementation and really driving to see how, as a city, we can improve how we deliver our permit services as well as the experience of our customers and our staff throughout that process. So our next leadership briefing will be following that prototyping phase in June of 2026. And lastly, I would just like to give a huge shout out to our team, Mayor, to you, council, to our senior leadership, our staff, and our residents. This has been a really great process thus far, and we couldn't have done it without all of you. So with that, I'll be happy to answer any questions.
I think I saw you first. Councilman Robert. Good job.
I don't know how many years we've been talking about this, and I'm glad that this is kind of a thinking outside the box kind of thing. I hope it works because it's tough for the staff and for the people. And as the first slide that you were showing us, that you got so many types of permits and so many things that are requirements that the city's required from the state and federal, and then our city codes all have to be met. A lot of people don't understand that they are walking into, what they're walking into when they come in for, approvals. But anything to make it easier for the customer. I know a lot of municipalities around us have gone through the same thing. It's not just Clearwater. And I hope this really helps. I'm glad you did it. Thanks.
Thank you.
Vice Mayor.
I'm going to sound like Councilmember Albin. We've been talking about this for years and years and years. I actually did I was part of a task force about this. But I want to thank everyone, and I mean everyone, who has and will continue to participate in this initiative. It is thinking outside the box. There's one phrase, or I guess embracing the idea that jumps at me, which is it carries a real life impact. All this that we're discussing, all these procedures and policies and all that permitting, there is a real life impact. And I thought that just by starting with embracing that and working ourselves backwards, I think we're in the right direction. Because truly it does, right? The delays causes businesses to, postpone their openings, and it affects employees and the supply chain and increasing costs and, the city economy. So there's like a ripple effect. And so embracing that concept to me is innovative. And I appreciate and I'm so thankful for everyone who's involved in this.
Okay. Councilwoman Marina.
Mayor, thank you. Thank you for the presentation. City Manager and Mayor, thank you for being so supportive of this program. I know both of you have participated and been very supportive of this, and our city staff doing this, so I thank you for that. I thank the whole core team and all the participants, we've all participated and had a lot of fun. I think eventually you had to like, get out of here, go on guys, we have some work to do. But you let us participate, it's been a lot of fun. I took some notes during that because there were so many great things said in that presentation that citizens all over the place would be begging for their governments to say when it comes, especially when it comes to permitting processes and the culture of being not adversarial but partners and collaborative, and not that we're not, but so often that's a perspective and a perception of those in the community. We are in the business, you're in the business, our staff is of customer service, right? And our citizens are our customers. And so often that first introduction to us as a city and customer service representatives is through the permitting processes, right? Regardless of what they're doing. And so often, I think one time you said that so many of the residents have a perspective of walking into this process blind, right? And while we have certain expectations, they come into it with different expectations, and sometimes it's hard to get on the same page. But a key thing you said, I thought, is that cultural shift of thinking from focusing on them as processes to putting the valuation into it as an experience. And that's key. Once you start to change that thinking, you truly do evaluate the process differently because you're valuing that experience that customer's going through. So I greatly appreciate that. The other thing I wrote down was reimagining the permitting process to be more efficient, transparent, and consistent. That's huge. That's a huge goal. And I do agree. I won't pull the Mr. Albritton card and say we've been talking about this for years, but when we go through political campaigns, I think we pulled mailers all the way back to 2015, 16, and look at what some of the political leaders are saying and focus points and buzzwords in our community. And so often it is finding ways to be more business friendly, undoing unneeded burdens and restrictions, navigating the permitting process to be friendly and collaborative versus adversarial, and that's a perspective that's out there. I'm 100% supportive. I absolutely love this culture shift in our community, and kudos to our entire team and staff and leadership for going in this direction. Thank you.
Councilmember Cotton?
Yes, thank you, sir. You've already had a ton of things, so I'm not going to beat that dead horse. You guys are doing a great job. I think that this is fantastic. You know, I'm one that always sits up here and asks for more data and more efficiencies and asks you all to try and see ways that you can be more innovative. And this is going to be fantastic. You know, I look forward to the 8 to 10 solutions that we have to problems that you guys have recognized or maybe an issue that you've recognized, and focusing on the endpoint to see how you can better your service is going to be key to that. So thank you very much for the update. I'm proud of all you guys and going through this program and trying to collectively work across your different divisions, not just being hunkered down in what you know and a wheel on the cog, but reaching out and hopefully realizing we're one team at the end of the day. And we're all going to work better and most effective when we're reaching out to one another and seeing how one process might work for you that they're already doing over here, putting those together to make a best product. So thank you all very much.
Well, a couple things. One, I want to thank the folks at Bloomberg Institute and Harvard for engaging us to participate in all this, choosing our city to participate in this year-long program, getting ready to go to Boston here next month for follow-up, kind of the end of the session from my end. But this has been a critical part of our whole participation. And I told someone the other day who was giving me, we had a little mentoringship with a former mayor who participated in this program too. And I told her that I want to compliment the city manager and assistant city managers and staff because you really did get the right people to serve on this task force. We have, I told her I could not have been more impressed when I walked in that room first time with the group. And I know it was competitive. The city manager shared with me that we had a lot of people really interested. And that was exciting to hear because that means we've had an entire staff of 1,850 employees that want to be the best, that want to improve, that want to serve those customers even better than we're already serving. And we get high compliments. I got 3 compliments this weekend from citizens who complimented different departments on their interaction that they've had. So that's, you know, the people that we got selected to serve, that's made a huge difference. But also have told folks that, and it's not just the 3 of you, but I see other faces here on the slide before us. I couldn't be more impressed with the way you all have embraced this. I've seen several of you. I went to the session at Clearwater Beach the other night, Chapel by the Sea, and you all have really, I mean, I've seen you, you're very talented, and I've seen you step forward and really, a number of you blossom in a way to lead this effort. And thank you for doing that, because it really, as you can tell from the other council members, it means so much to our citizens in our city. And, you know, what are your quotes? If you think about it from the customer's perspective, you can be walking into the process blind. I've seen anyone who's participated in our team realize that. It's a little bit of an epiphany, particularly the other night when you see the citizens making suggestions, like, well, yeah, you put yourself in their shoes. So, but the energy you all and your team have brought to this, I know I appreciate it, and the rest of the council appreciates it, and the whole city appreciates it. So thank you for your report today.
If I may.
City Manager?
I have to beat the dead horse and say thank you again, because, and there's other of our core team member in here. I know that it won't go on TV, but if you'll please stand up. Come on. Stand up, because it is a team approach. Yes. So the program was very clear that it was going to be extra work, and they anticipated the number of hours, and we went into that knowing it. This team has by far exceeded what those hours are, and it's just purely because of the dedication that they have. It's not out of obligation, it's out of desire and just interest. So when I tell you it's in excess of an additional 10 hours a week on top of their normal jobs, I would actually be underestimating. It's a significant amount of work, especially as we continue to move through this, but they're going to get it right. Councilmember Albert, you said you hope this one happens. It will. I guarantee you this one's going to happen, because this team is going to make it happen. And while this was not intending to be any kind of a succession planning or anything along those lines, it absolutely has identified some of the leaders in organization. By no means do I mean all of the leaders, but I mean this is some of the cream of the crop here, and I could not be more proud of you guys, and look forward to what's going to happen. They're learning skills, we all are, that won't just be applied to this project, but that's going to be able to apply to other projects, and we'll give other, I know that because of the attention and the accolades, as well as the improvements this team has made, that other people are going to want to be a part of that. And so we'll continue to have groups and put committees together so that they can participate, and these people will help lead that as well. So thank you so much for all you do. Definitely want to thank the Bloomberg Harvard team. The facilitators that we have for us have certainly just meshed well and pulled and pushed us to be stronger and better together. And so thank you for that. Also, I want to acknowledge the department heads and the other teammates that are supporting to allow these people to be away from those other things and to get ideas. And there's been a lot of participation organization-wide through that, and a shift in that culture occurred to support this. So I just wanted to make sure all that was noted. So thank you guys so much.
Well, thank you to all of you. Yeah, you got something you want to say? Agenda item 4.1.
Approved funding of a deferred loan in an amount not to exceed $1,391,938 provided by the City of Clearwater for the development of real property located at 1718 North Betty Lane.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. Dylan Mayhew, I'm the housing manager. The item today is requesting approval of home ARP funding for an affordable housing rental development serving families experiencing or at risk of homelessness. As background, the City of Clearwater received a one-time allocation of $1.6 million in home ARP funding from HUD under the American Rescue Plan. These funds must serve qualifying populations, and this includes individuals and families experiencing or at risk of homelessness. Council approved 3 substantial amendments to incorporate and reallocate these funds, most recently in June of 2025, when funding was shifted from supportive services and tenant-based rental assistance to affordable housing in order to expand the city's affordable housing inventory. Following that approval, staff issued a notice of funding availability. The application period closed on August 8th, 2025, and the city received 1 application from Homeless Empowerment Program, better known as HEP. The proposed project includes 35 apartment units for families with minor children who are experiencing homelessness or living in deep poverty. The development will include 2- and 3-bedroom units at 30%, 50%, and 80% of area median income, along with a centrally located community building, a couple of offices with case managers on site. The site is located approximately a half mile from HEP's main campus. This allows residents direct access to supportive services such as employment assistance, child care assistance, transportation support, and health services. The total project cost is approximately $10.2 million. HEP has secured over $5.4 million in private donations and is requesting $1,391,938 in home ARP funding from the city. And then in addition, they will be requesting $1.75 million in penny from Pinellas County. And as a side, we did meet with Pinellas County. They intend to bring this item to their board at the end of March. I believe it's March 24th. Any remaining gap will be covered by additional donations or HEP's endowment. The Neighborhood and Affordable Housing Advisory Board reviewed this proposal on October 14, 2025, and voted to recommend approval to council. Staff has completed a review of the environmental record and subsea layer analysis and has determined that the project is feasible and compliant. It's important to note that the subsea layer analysis that's attached shows an amount, the city funding an amount of $1.6 million. HEP understands the city can only contribute a maximum subsidy of $1,391,938, and they intend to fill the additional gap with additional donations or their endowment. I'll be swapping out. I do have an updated SLR that I'll be swapping out hopefully by Thursday. And also important to note, all these funds will be verified prior to closing with proof of funds. At closing, staff anticipates execution of a commitment letter, a home ARP funding agreement, 30-year mortgage, a promissory note, and a land use restriction agreement. Staff recommends approval of the home ARP funding contingent upon confirmation of all other funding sources and agreement to city terms, which will include construction timelines, income restrictions, and repayment provisions if contract terms are not met. I do have Ashley, Barb, and Jeff here from HEP, and I'm happy to address any questions.
Okay, questions?
Thank you, Mayor. No question, just comment. I think this is a great community use of the allocated HUD funds. I commend and appreciate HEP, their leadership team, to their service in our community and that full circle approach that they do. Definitely a huge asset. Regarding this property specifically, this has been an eyesore for many years, completely overgrown. It's been used as a dumping ground for quite a while. What's even more concerning is that it's so close to the two elementary schools within eyeshot. Couldn't think of a better group to turn this into much needed affordable housing units. I think what I read was 35 apartments specifically for families with minor children experiencing homelessness or living in deep poverty, and I think this is a great use of those HUD funds, so thank you for bringing it forward.
Okay. Any other discussion? Not, do we have consent?
Yes.
We have consent on 4.1. Thank you. Agenda item 5.1.
Approve the purchase of excess property insurance, including bridges, boiler, and machinery terrorism, UAV, drone, and docks and pier coverages.
Good afternoon, Mayor, Council, Todd Marone, City Risk Manager. Today, the request approval, annual excess property insurance renewal, and specialty property policies as well. In the amount not to cover the period from April 1, 2026 until April 1, 2027, in an amount not to exceed $5,901,000. A couple items to note for this year's renewal. Last year, I worked with Gallagher to prepare for this year's renewal, requesting a strategy to address expanding our coverage in the needed area for our docks and piers. Partly due to the significant increase in our assets at the beach, which currently is still under construction, but hopefully will be done later this year, and because we were limited to a $2.5 million sublimit in our prior policies. This coverage is going to help us provide needed coverage in some of the most vulnerable areas of our property coverage. With that said, I'm happy to answer any questions that you'd like.
Any questions on this agenda? Councilmember Cotton?
No questions, just want to make some points for those people who might not know how to access the agenda item. Thank you for going through this and shopping it. Just point out some, reductions that
Yes.
were noted. We've got 18% decrease in the property premium, boilers and machinery, 22.8% decrease, bridge decrease of 16.8%. So, it's not like we're just flippantly throwing out big numbers and saying, yes, we're all dedicated in going through this and listening to what you have to say through risk and making sure that we're on the same
Absolutely.
page. So I appreciate it and just wanted to throw out some of those reductions for anybody who's watching or might have any questions. So
The
thank you.
general perspective is, our guidance to council and from our broker to us is, when property rates decrease, we should increase our coverage as that opportunity allows. This was a happy occurrence for the city to offset the increase. The difference between marina assets and regular property assets is about a 10-time difference in rate. So it's expensive and will continue to be expensive because we're essentially insuring water.
Okay, any further discussion? If none, do we have consent?
Yep.
We have consent on 4.1.
Thank you.
Excuse me, 5 point. Yes, thank you. Agenda item 5.2.
Approve a not to exceed amount of $265,000 for reconstruction replacement work for the Beach Marina building.
My second item today is to request a not to exceed amount of $265,000. This reflects for the work done by Servpro at the Beach Marina building, not the marina itself. This reflects a change order that has to do with fire suppression, sprinkler heads, and some other items that had to be addressed as they were wrapping up. Currently, marina and parking are on fire watch in the building while we wait to get approval so we can move forward with this last piece of the project.
Okay. Any discussion? No discussion, do we have consent?
Yes. Consent.
We have consent on 5.2. Thank you.
Thank you.
And item 6.1.
Authorize the purchase order to 10-8 Fire Equipment, Inc. of Bradenton, Florida, for the purchase of one new Pierce heavy-duty velocity platform and one Pierce heavy-duty velocity pumper.
Council, good afternoon. Chad Pittman, Fire Chief. Clearwater Fire and Rescue is requesting authorization to purchase one Pierce heavy-duty platform, truck 48, and one heavy-duty pumper, engine 45, at a total discounted cost of $3,497,068.01, reflecting a multi-unit discount of $45,460.98. Upon delivery, the current frontline units will be moved to the reserve status, and 2 older reserve units will be retired and declared surplus. The purchase will piggyback off a Sourcewell contract through 10-8 Fire and Safety, providing a 5.5% discount. And the city will receive approximately 11.48% reimbursement from Pinellas County for the unincorporated areas we serve. Early authorization is requested due to an estimated 51-month lead time. I'm available for any questions.
I do have one.
Yes, sir.
This kind of purchase, is it just part of a plan that we have over a period of years? to
That is
replace
correct,
equipment?
yes. We have a replacement plan for all of our units.
Okay. And this is right in line with what we had expected?
It is, yes, sir.
Okay, anybody else? Okay, do we have consent?
Yes.
We have consent on to 6.1 then. Thank you. 6.2.
Authorize the purchase order to Motorola Solutions, Inc. of St. Petersburg, Florida, for the purchase of a mock alert fire station alerting system.
All right, Chad Pittman, Fire Chief. Fire Station 45 requires replacement of its original emergency incident alerting equipment with a new mock alert fire station alerting system. It's a multi-channel solution designed to improve response times, enhance firefighter safety, integrated with new computer-aided dispatch, and it meets the National Fire Protection Association standards. The upgraded system improves firefighter safety and efficiency by alerting personnel assigned to the responding unit. It integrates directly with dispatch system for an automated alerting system. Authorization is requested to piggyback Sourcewell contract
for a discounted total cost of $108,940.46, which includes the equipment, installation, and an extended one-year warranty. And the project is funded under the capital improvement plan with the partial reimbursement coming from the county for the unincorporated areas we serve.
Okay. Any discussion on this agenda? Okay, do we have consent?
Yep.
We have consent on 6.2. Thank you.
Thank you.
And item 7.1.
Approve connecting Clearwater and active transportation plan for the city of Clearwater.
Good afternoon, Mayor, Council, City Manager, Assistant City Managers. I'm Rick Hartman, Transportation Planner, here to request approval of resolution, request adoption of Resolution 26.04, approving the City of Clearwater Active Transportation Plan. Catherine Tellez from our consultant, Fair and Pierce, is here today. As you know, this has been over a year in coming, and we have spent that time implementing plans that are up to date and replacing the 2006 shifting gears. We have a presentation, and you'll see concepts as well as some proposed projects and policies to implement that will improve active transportation in the city. And we have the concepts I want to emphasize are planning level concepts at this time, and we'll need more detailed analysis. But I'll turn it over to Catherine now to go through the presentation.
Great. Thank you so much. I'm sorry. I'm used to these things magically happening. That's that. All right. So I'm Catherine Tellez, a Principal Transportation Planner with Fair and Pierce, and I'm very excited to be here before you, sharing an overview of Connecting Clearwater, an active transportation plan for the city. So we were before you last July with a midpoint check-in, so we'll just start with a brief review. So what is an active transportation plan? It's a comprehensive set of strategies to provide better options for people walking, biking, rolling, including access to transit. It identifies a number of infrastructure projects, some policies, and then some processes based on staff feedback, stakeholder engagement, and public input to achieve the desired goals. So at the project outset, we identified 3 primary goals. So we wanted to identify a citywide, low-stress active transportation network. And when we say low stress, we're really thinking about a street that people would want to walk or bike on and they feel comfortable because they're not right next to vehicles traveling 40+ miles per hour. We really want to improve transportation safety outcomes. When we look at the crash data, we see that people walking and biking in Clearwater are disproportionately killed or injured in crashes. So we want to make sure that this infrastructure creates a safer environment for people walking and biking. And then most importantly, we want to have a feasible project list that can be implemented over time. If projects aren't feasible, this will just be a plan on the shelf that won't get implemented. So we'll go through some of the key project tasks, including the overall plan development, the analysis, some of the community engagement items, and then the overall documentation. So as Rick mentioned, we've been at this for a little while, about 15 months or so, with engagement occurring regularly throughout the entire process, including meetings that we had with a variety of city staff departments about every 2 months throughout the process, because we know it's going to take a collaboration of multiple departments to get projects implemented and then maintained. We had online feedback opportunities, we had a public workshop, and we had 3 in-person stakeholder meetings from people from the public as well. So all the analysis and feedback from the community was then incorporated into the plan, and I won't go through all of the details because I hope that you've all at least scanned through the report. And so these are really sort of the primary topics that everything is organized around. And what makes this active transportation plan different than some of the others that we've prepared is the inclusion of the concept plan. So really taking sort of the top 10 type projects to a higher level. So that way staff can really understand what is it going to take to implement some of these projects? We've identified the potential for drainage conflicts, utility conflicts, so that way when scoping occurs to take these concepts to a plan that can be constructed, we kind of know what we're getting ourselves into in terms of having enough funding budgeted to actually get it constructed. And more importantly, these concept plans can be great to include in grant applications to help on the funding piece. So when we last met back in July, we went through a number of the project types that are included in the plan. So we have trails. These are off-street facilities like the Pinellas Trail. Then we have urban trails or wide sidewalks. So these are like the Druid Trail, so nice wide sidewalk area where you can walk or bike. And then we have retrofitted bike lanes. So these are taking your on-street bike lanes and where it's feasible, making them a little bit wider, and even adding a little bit of a buffer. Perhaps in some communities, we've even seen concrete buffers between the bike lane and the vehicular travel lane, again, to make it a little bit more comfortable for people walking and biking. And then lastly, neighborhood greenways. So these are streets that are very low volume, low speed streets where it's pretty comfortable to ride a bike, and really we just need to focus on improvements at those crossing locations so you can get out of your neighborhood into different locations. We also identified a host of different crossing project types. So within the plan, we have a number of standalone crossing improvements. It's also assumed that as corridors are improved, that each individual crossing along each corridor would be looked at in more detail for an appropriate treatment. As I mentioned, we've done a lot of engagement throughout the project. So the last round of engagement, when we shared the draft network, we had over 300 unique visitors to the project website. And based on the feedback that we received, we ended up adding, I think it was 11 additional projects, and then we made refinements to 14 projects that we had already identified. So this engagement, plus the engagement that we did earlier on in the process, we had over 750 people that interacted with the project and provided feedback, plus people that we met. Sort of Rick did a number of pop-up events out on the trails and other community events. So we did get feedback from a wide range of people. And so this here is just an example of the feedback that we received on that draft network. And again, that resulted in us making some changes to that initial draft network to create the one that you now see before you. So this here is now our planned network, and you can see that there's a number of new trail facilities, a lot of urban trail facilities. So that's those wider sidewalks. We really heard from people that they really wanted that extra level of separation from vehicular traffic. We do have some new bike lanes and enhanced bike lanes, and then those neighborhood greenways, plus a number of sort of intersection improvements. So that way, if you're walking or biking, you can get across the street to your ultimate destination. Overall, there were 79 corridor projects, a number of them that could be developed in phases, and then 49 intersection projects. So that's a lot. We did not expect that to all be implemented, in a very near-term time frame. So we developed prioritization criteria based on feedback from our technical advisory committee, stakeholder committee, and the public. And you can see that safety came out as sort of the top ranking prioritization criteria. So safety is really a concern of everybody that we talked to throughout this project. So based on the criteria, these here are the top 10 corridor projects, and out of 100, the top ranked projects scored 88. And you can see that most of these are urban trail or trail facilities. So these rank the highest when we look at all the different prioritization criteria. And then we have here the top 10 ranked crossing projects. You can see most of these are just installing a high visibility crosswalk and then a rectangular rapid flashing beacon. So that's where the pedestrian or cyclist is able to push the button and you get the flashing lights to alert drivers that there's somebody in the crosswalk. We also did a pretty extensive policy review because we wanted to make sure there weren't going to be policy barriers to getting some of the projects implemented, and specifically getting some of the projects implemented as development projects occur. So overall, we found that there's broad support in all the policies and documents that we reviewed for walking, biking, micromobility, and transit integration across Clearwater as well as within Pinellas County and the Forward Pinellas policies. But we did note some opportunities to make some enhancements to the community development code to enhance some of those overall outcomes. Some of them including modifying of parking requirements and updating some of the sidewalk standards to better align with some of the other projects that the city has already adopted. Then we developed an implementation plan, and this section of the report provides, well, what are we actually going to measure? What are the details? What's the lead department within the city that's going to take charge of that? In some instances, there are agency partners outside the city, whether it be FDOT or the county or Forward Pinellas. We also came up with sort of what's a reasonable timeline. So some of these might be annual actions. Some of these we might aspire to complete within about 5 years. Others are sort of well beyond that 5-year time horizon. And then a relative cost. So here's just a couple of examples. So on an annual basis, ideally we'll come back to you, or staff will come back to you once a year to just kind of report, what did we do? How many crossing improvements did we make? How many miles of urban trail were we able to construct? And then even a high level, some crash reporting of, did we move the needle on crashes involving people walking or biking? And then even there's some trail counters out there. So even coming back and noting, did we see an increase or a change in demand? Within 5 years, updating some of the land development codes, collaborating with some agency partners, constructing some of those lower cost improvements, and then longer term building out that urban trail network. Because we know those projects will take a little bit longer to design and then get the funding together to construct. And then here's just an example of one of the concept plans that we developed. So this is on MLK, and you can see it's a concept plan, but there's enough in there here that we can really start to see, all right, what does this project entail? What might the crossing improvements might be? And this is really intended as a starting point to go to the community and get their feedback and ideas and then refine the plan even more. And then here's an example of a standalone crossing improvement that has some independent utility beyond what might happen on the corridor as well. And in this case, the emphasis here was really just improving access to a bus stop, because right now, if you get off at the bus and want to go to the other side of the street, there's not really a clear way for people to do that. And especially if maybe you're a student going to one of the schools and you want to get across the street. I know I always worry about my kids trying to figure out the best way to cross the street. And then in the back of the report, we just included a list of potential grants and then a technical appendix with a lot more details. So with that, happy to answer any questions you all might have.
Okay. Questions?
I don't have a question, but I just want to let you, I don't have a question, but I was reading the two presentations, and I actually called her. I was overwhelmed when I was trying to look at all your concepts and then try to see if there was any overlapping with your tables. And then looking at the price associated with all of them. This is a tall order, and I'm glad that we have you guys to figure this out, because it's extensive. It's a huge wish list. And then, you go down a rabbit hole, right? Well, how are we going to fund this? Who's going to fund this? Who's going to apply for the grants? But it's needed, but it's quite a lot of work that you guys are putting in there. So that's all. I just wanted to let you know I was overwhelmed with all I saw, because there's a lot of things listed there.
Councilmember Marina.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you for the presentation. This is it's important and vitally important to our community. So often we talk about traffic on our roadways and how to move vehicles through our corridors and how to keep them safe. But there's also the whole other side of it of not everyone is in a car, and limiting cars and keeping those pedestrians and strollers and wheelchairs and walkers and bicyclists safe on our trail systems or sidewalks. This completely aligns with our regional mobility plans. I know Forward Pinellas at the county level has set this as a priority in moving forward as far as funding mechanisms for this. I know this dais just learned in Tallahassee how important it is that when we go there with plans and priorities, we make sure we have all the work in place and funding mechanisms in line, so that they want to see shovel-ready, boots-on-the-ground projects, that's what they want to get behind and invest in. And if we want grants, this is part of that process. I think it's in Clearwater, as we all know, we're kind of geographically spread out pretty far from beach to bay, and our neighborhoods are very clustered, which is a challenge for us. But we do have some beautiful and unbelievable trail systems throughout our communities, and finding creative ways to try to connect those different neighborhoods to our beautiful parks, to our trail systems, through our downtown park and our beach, and keeping families safe and not feeling the necessity to get behind a wheel is vitally important. So I appreciate all the work the team put into this. I'm 100% supportive of it. I know Councilmember Albritton and I are always discussing and pulling for Clearwater and for these options in Fort Pinellas, and they're ready to fund opportunities like this, and this is an important step in it. So thank you.
Anybody else? Councilmember Cotton?
Yeah, I have a few questions for you guys, if you might be able to answer them. Thank you for the presentation. I appreciate it. Thank you for the 15 months. So the first one, through this resolution, are we going to be, as the city council, committing to any specific facility types, or can engineering recommend alternatives later on?
Yes, that's what I was kind of, referencing when I say it's a planning level. The concepts are planning level that need to be further fleshed out through engineering as part of the design process. The feasibility, we know where utilities are on a two-dimensional level, but going underground, other things, every now and then there could be some kind of land use that is not compatible with what we're proposing. And that's the thing about the list. The list is not everything that we want. It's the ranking of a lot of things. So if one pulls out, then we have the next one on the list that we can look at, or we can go down, to get something that is feasible, cost efficient and such. And I'd also, Councilman Cotton, to address Councilman Menino's thoughts. We talked to Dunedin, we talked to FDOT, we talked to the county, and part of this is incorporating our neighbors in this process and working together, because that really strengthens any kind of grant proposal that we will go and pursue to develop one or more of these projects. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Next question, and I'm sure, or I hope you guys did this, which brings on the question, is what is the anticipated continuing improvement plan or the exposure of that with implementing those top-ranked products? Did you guys take into account more people moving into the area and how that exposure will probably affect those projects, or do we understand that those are targets that might move?
Yeah, so the plan does sort of anticipate sort of some land use changes throughout time, and that neighborhood needs might change. So as new developments come in, there's an opportunity to take a look at the plan and see, oh, there's an apartment complex that's going in here. Can we get them to construct X, Y, or Z project along their frontage and then perhaps connect to something else? Within the implementation plan itself, we also suggest doing sort of a light refresh within 5 years to kind of take a look and, is this still the right plan for Clearwater? Does it need to adjust? What types of funding opportunities might have come available? We've identified there's potential opportunities if there's undergrounding of utilities along a corridor. Sort of, let's just not build back exactly what's there, but maybe there's an opportunity to widen the sidewalk or do other improvements at that point. So we're really trying to structure the plan to be somewhat opportunistic, because again, it's got a big price tag, and we know there's got to be a lot of different partners to come in and help.
Last question is, how will the council be brought back in? Is that when a project is chosen, and then you guys would fine tune it and then bring it back just like any other project is? Is that what I would assume?
Well, as far as coming back, we'll report just basically on what types of movements have things been able to get into the engineering department's budget cycle, or at least consideration and such. And then when you'd hear about a project would be when it's moving forward through, as far as the traffic engineering and our engineering public works department, as they are, I'm sorry, as they are analyzing it. So that would be the next time it would come before you, except for the annual update, which would be a more general view.
Understood. Now it's time for my Mr. Wonderful hat to go on. So when reviewing this, when reviewing all the documents that go with it, I appreciate your hard work, I really do. But this essentially, to me, is a complete streets campaign. I'm all for safer crosswalks, I'm all for safer roads, and I'm all for better signaling timing and connectivity. But in no way am I for road diets, lane removal, or reducing vehicle capacity. And even in the few examples that were given, you could see it was a wider sidewalk that's already coming into MLK. We just did the MLK parade, and that's already a tight enough road as is. I can imagine putting a bigger, wider sidewalk in there and then reducing that down to one lane and putting different things in there. I get it, it was just an example, but something like that. I'm more for a project-by-project consideration rather than a blanket resolution that binds this city staff and elected officials, both current and future, to any specific standard. I'd rather you guys be implementing what's going forward, seeing what's ranking high and what needs to be done, bringing it to us and letting us go over it at that point and see what's best for our city in the time. Planning is always great, and I will say that we need to continue planning. But in my estimation, I am not for this resolution because of those standards that I laid out. But thank you very much for what you brought forward to us.
If I may address that, this is by no means committing the city to these projects at all. And as MLK, these are based on the right-of-way and not reducing lane width whatsoever. The only time we mention lane width reduction would be for some type of a bike lane where it would be just enough to put in some kind of vertical or protective barrier, and even that is not being committed by approving this plan.
And I just want to note that in other communities where the plan is fully adopted, it then provides some leverage when a developer comes in, and they might conflict with widening a sidewalk or whatnot with their development plans, to be able to point to the document and compel them to make some of the improvements along with their project versus needing to acquire right-of-way or do other things in the future.
No, I appreciate that. I'm thinking in real-world practical senses, right? Right now, the county's doing 71st Street. I deal with it every third day at the fire department. And when they first initially presented it, we thought that the street was going to be bigger, right? And now we're getting a much larger, much wider sidewalk. Technically, we're getting less room. And trying to fit a 53,800-pound fire engine through 2 lanes of traffic going north on one of my major arteries creates more disruption than any help, especially when I'm trying to get to somebody in a timely manner. And I know this is nothing to you guys. I'm just trying to say that I would much rather a project hit my feet with what it is, why it is there, let those who are here judge it on its merits and cast their vote where they may on whether a project goes forward, not simply push forward a resolution that is going to be going solely for what we anticipate. I know not lane reduction, but even when you're widening sidewalks, it's either going to the public rights of way where you have it and then ending where you don't, or asking for a property owner to concede some of that right of way, or going into the street. So again, this solely comes down to, you got a project, I believe in you guys, bring it to me, let me see the merits of that project and go forward inch by inch, not putting a resolution out there that says this is what we're going to do.
Anybody else?
I just have a question. If we adopt this resolution, what exactly are we committing to? I guess that needs clarification, because I didn't think, in my mind, I wasn't agreeing to the whole plan, just the continuation of looking into it. Am I correct?
That is correct.
Okay.
That's why we're calling it a planning level. This is a higher level, before approving any kind of a project, it would definitely need much more in-depth analysis from an engineering standpoint and such. These are potential projects.
And I think I might, weigh in. I agree with you, and I know state level left out, there's no appetite for road diets right now. I can tell you, the U.S. Department of Transportation, there's no appetite for funding projects that have road diets. So that's not, and we talked about this earlier in our terms, 5 of us on another street in Clearwater. So I think that that's something, you know, we would not want to focus on if we got a proposed project in front of us. I do think, though, that it's good for us to have an overall active transportation plan for the entire city, because we do want to encourage pedestrian and bicycle traffic. We have fantastic trails. We have Pinellas Trail goes through. We have, you know, we have all kinds of trails. We got several trails going east-west. We got trails going north-south, and it's an important part of our quality of life. An example, November, they're going to connect the Courtney Campbell Causeway Trail to the north side of the Courtney Campbell, which will open up potentially, expanding the trail up through east part of Clearwater into Safety Harbor. And so I do think we want to nourish and nurture and keep growing our trails, because they're a very important part of the quality of life here. And I think this plan overall, you know, gives us a commitment to doing that, with the flexibility to change whatever project we want to do and spend however much we want to do. But I think it's important to show the community, yes, we care about alternative forms of transportation, not just for getting to and from work, where we're recreationally. It's an important part of our quality of life here, and I think it's important that we adopt this plan for that reason. The other thing I'll say, and a little bit what Councilmember Cotton, you had said earlier, I want to make sure that, you know, we're putting money where it's going to, when it comes to safety, the things that will actually increase safety. We had a fatality here recently on Court Street at Missouri where, you know, the innocent person was just he was where he was supposed to be. He was clearly marked. He was and just happened to be, unfortunately, involved in a collision between two cars, which, you know, we know of a number of pedestrian accidents we've had in Clearwater, in Gulf to Bay primarily. People in dark clothing have been crossing in the middle of the night, and you know, drivers just aren't able to see them. So we've got some pedestrian behaviors and a lot of driver behaviors. So to the extent we're doing some of these projects to increase safety, I just want to make sure they're going to increase safety. That and the 10 you've got priorities, I don't know. I haven't looked at each one of those to see if they're connected to some problem we've had. I know where FDOT landed with Drew Street was trying to fix the intersections where they had the most accidents. And hopefully, if we're looking at safety, we're looking at those 10 projects and how they can increase safety. So, but for me, I just see it as a statement by the city that we care about active transportation and all forms of transportation, not just for getting places, but recreationally, and we're trying to encourage that. So that's how I see it, but I understand, Councilmember Cotton, what you're saying. Councilmember Cotton?
Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you, sir. Did you want to go first?
It doesn't matter, go ahead.
Okay, so to that, I'm not saying planning is not important. I think that we all know planning is extremely important, right? I don't understand why we would have to put a resolution to this, right? I mean, when you read what the resolution says, this will provide a foundation for a balanced transportation system. I mean, I don't understand why we're trying to put ourselves, binding ourselves in any way with written document, when it just makes sense that we would have a plan, that we want to make sure that it's the safest plan, that we're doing it for the betterment and best of our community moving forward. Again, I've pointed out all the reasons as to why and what this kind of is looking like from my view and standpoint, and you know, what I can count, as Councilmember Nina says, when we go forward, but I will be opposing this as a resolution. I think that we continue to plan, we make the best plan for our safety of our citizens, but I'm just not going to ever vote to bind city staff or ourselves to a resolution of this is the plan. So that's where I'm coming at it from. Thank you.
Okay. Councilmember Albright.
Well, a resolution to me is just stating a fact that we're resolved to moving forward on a plan. That's all it is. It's not like we're not codifying anything. We're just resolving that this council is stating that we want to put a plan together for our transportation plan. And can be changed. It's not really a code. It's just a stating that we do have something in place. So I'll be supporting it because of that. I know that can be changed at any time, and it should be. It should be changed as we go. But, you know, it kind of tells the public that we've got something in place, and I mean, that's the way I look at it. Owen, can you back me up on that, or tell me if I'm wrong?
A resolution is just an expression of council. That's all it is. And I believe that the reason that the resolution is before you, so staff knows that the plan has been approved, if I'm not mistaken. That's why you brought the resolution.
And just want to add, a number of grants do require that the plan be sort of approved by the governing board as that sign of support for qualifying for the grant funds.
Councilmember Marina.
Thank you for saying that was one of my questions regarding grant funding. I just want to bring a little clarity. I appreciate the conversation. I agree with so much what the council member said regarding, you know, road dieting and get us locked into certain things. There is an apprehension with that, and I don't believe this does that. I think what we want to make sure we understand, this is nothing more than a citywide framework, right? A high-level overview of what a micro-mobility plan, our options and opportunities are within our community, where some of our challenges are. This is dumped in our lap, and now it's on us as a team and as a staff to come together and identify those priorities, what is a need, what isn't. That plan obviously can change, but this is nothing more than just a framework. It doesn't lock us into any certain final projects or authorize even 1 penny of spending. Am I correct in saying that?
Correct.
Thank you.
Okay. And I appreciate the detail, too. It seemed like it took me 20 minutes to download the full report, which, to Councilmember Cotton, thank you for raising that, because I do want to, before Thursday, read through the entire thing. I summarized it and went through and looked at the slides, but it's a very long report, and I agree with you. I'd like to look at it closer, too.
Well, if I may, if not, just make sure we all read the resolution too, because I mean, right here, page 1. Whereas the Florida Department of Transportation adopted the Complete Streets Policy in 2014 and published the Florida Design Manual in 2017 that was updated in 2025 to support transportation planning and promote safety, quality of life, and economic development in Florida. And so I guess I was right. It does kind of go down this Complete Streets avenue. So let's, again, I know you guys do your homework just as I do, but let's make sure we read it so we're not agreeing to the plan that we might not think it is.
Yeah, the language of the resolution is important to me, too, so I'll take a look at that.
If I may, so internally, we had some very similar conversations as you guys are having at the dais. And so, you know, the planning department's done a great job in terms of making sure that we had an opportunity to discuss our concerns with some of the projects that were on there. There's team members out there that, you know, were very engaged in some of these projects that just have some hesitation on. And so just know that the planning department was very receptive to that, and certainly from the feedback that we got, this was not guaranteeing any of these. It was that we would explore these. And so know that, you know, it'll be a collaborative approach. That's how we do things. Before we bring anything forward, they'll be vetted throughout the entire teams to make sure that we can, we agree in terms of what we're trying to do, and that the costs are understand up front of what the total project would be. So we will bring each individual project forward before anything additional occurs. And like I said, this just gives us the permission to look into these projects to determine if we want to move forward or not.
I appreciate that. I really do appreciate that. And I understand that. Like, I understand all of this, and this is not to beat you guys up or any one person here. This is just going into what the language says, right? Like, before I speak, because I'm a council member, I want to make sure I'm articulating the right phrasing and terminology, because I believe my words do count when I say something, and I don't want there to be any apprehension or does this mean that. So when we are writing our belief to a plan of the future for the city of Clearwater, that's not my plan, but I'm one of 5 and I understand my role in this. I'm just conveying to everybody, I would never sign my name to this. And I know it's tough. You have 5 people up here. You guys do tremendous work. I'm not trying to discount any of that. Just what is written, I would not put my name to.
Well, some of the language of the resolution you pointed out that I've got questions about that as well, so well taken. Yeah. Okay. Anything else? Okay, we'll move on then to agenda item 8.1.
Approve a
Thank
third.
you. Stanley.
Approve a 3-year maintenance and support agreement with Tyler Technologies.
Mayor, council members, Dan Mayer, IT Director. This is a renewal of our agreement with, or further agreement with Tyler Technologies. They provide our financials and our human capital management solution, or our payroll system, and we'll be adding this year time and attendance, which is the time clocks. That'll be replacing Kronos at a modest savings, but a savings. We have to get that done by the end of the year. I'll be happy to take any questions.
Yeah. Any questions on this agenda? Councilmember Cotton.
Yeah, thank you, Dan. I appreciate it and look forward to these upgrades. Again, going through the documents, I saw the different percentages that we were saving, so thank you for going through that. There was just one little cause for concern, and that was the up to 6% increases every year. Like, could you give me, it doesn't say that they will be, it says it up to, and it could happen. What would an example of why something would be increased for that calendar year?
It can be at the discretion of the vendor. Old contracts used to do a lump sum over a 3-year period, which was an old PeopleSoft contract that we worked on. So normally, they try to control costs. They know it's a burden for some of their users to absorb big costs, but increases in inflation, I think they're hedging their bets, and contractually, that's what they were obligated. This year, I think it only went up just under 5%.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Okay, any other questions, comments? Okay, do we have consent?
Yep.
We have consent on 8.1. Thank you. 9.1.
Approve a work authorization with Registered Construction Engineering for pre-construction technical services for the Clearwater Executive Airport North Hangar.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. I'm Aaron Braley, Marina and Aviation Division Controller. This item is a work authorization under our existing CMAR continuing services contract to advance the North Hangar project at Clearwater Executive Airport. Council previously approved the Fly USA lease agreement as well as FDOT grant agreements for both the design and construction phases of the corporate hangar project. Under those agreements, Fly USA is responsible for reimbursing the city for the required local match of 20% for the design. This work authorization in the amount of $63,666 covers pre-construction and technical services necessary to refine the project scope, coordinate permitting, and develop a guaranteed maximum price for the construction. This is the first in a series of agreements that will return to council as the project advances toward construction. Happy to answer any questions you may have.
Okay. Any questions on this agenda item?
I have one.
Yes.
I seem to be on it these past 2 meetings, y'all. I don't know what it is. Thank you very much for presenting this. And my questions are probably pretty basic. You just said that this is the first in a series of authorizations to get this work going. I think is what I'm coming down to is the reimbursement with Fly USA. What type of a phase is that tied into? Is it we pay and then they'll pay us back within the month, or do we know what that tiered approach looks like?
Yes, yeah, they are. We end up having them sign separate agreements when these come due. When we get the FDOT agreements,
Yep.
Fly USA signs a corresponding agreement stating that after we pay out and invoice them, they pay within a month.
Okay, perfect. I think that's where I just wanted to know, because I didn't see where it said, it just said that Fly USA would be reimbursing it. I didn't know what timeline they have. Is that in a decade? You know, what does that look like? And you did say the $63,666 is just a part of one of these other construction allocations, is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Perfect.
Altogether, so far, we have allocated just over $3 million for this entire project.
Awesome. Thank you for connecting those dots. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Anything else? This is not a consent.
I was going to ask, can we place it on consent?
Do we have consent? Yes. We have consent. Thank you. Agenda 9.2.
Approve a Resilient Florida Grant Program agreement between the City of Clearwater and the State of Florida Department of Environmental Protection for $4 million for the construction of resiliency improvements at the Clearwater Beach Marina, and adopt Resolution 26-07.
Hello, Aaron Braley, Marine and Aviation Division Controller. This item is a
$4 million Resilient Florida Program grant from the Florida Department of Environmental Protection to support resiliency improvements at the Clearwater Beach Marina. The funding will assist with construction of an elevated bulkhead, replacement of the existing overwater fuel facility with a floating system designed to better accommodate changing water levels, and associated pre-construction and resiliency-related activities. These improvements are part of the larger beach marina reconstruction project and are specifically focused on strengthening our infrastructure against storm surge, sea level rise, and long-term coastal impacts. This grant helps offset eligible construction costs and reduces the financial burden on our Marine Enterprise Fund while advancing the city's commitment to resilient, sustainable waterfront infrastructure. Happy to answer any questions.
Okay, Councilmember Menino.
Not a question, just another example. Kudos to the staff on how hard we've worked on securing these grants. This is, that we keep hearing them, they keep coming before us, and they are appreciated. I know the taxpayers of Clearwater appreciate the work that's being done. We're obviously being successful at it. I think our grants have more than doubled within the past calendar year, so thank you.
Councilmember Cotton.
Echo the same sentiment to whoever and whomever is working on grants. You know, you guys are doing a bang-up job. This is awesome. $4 million that are going to come into our city to help offset costs and get things done. Fantastic work. Let's not let off the gas in that aspect. So thank you.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
With agenda item 10.1.
Authorize respective agreements between the City of Clearwater and Palm Pavilion Hotel located at 10 Bay Esplanade, Pier 60 Concessions, and Barefoot Beach House located at 1 Causeway Boulevard and 332 South Gulfway Boulevard, respectively. Shepherd's, Macon, and Waves located at 619 South Gulfview Boulevard, Hilton located at 400 Mandalay Avenue, Dolphin Sands located at 655 Gulfview Boulevard, and Hampton Inn and Suites located at 635 Gulfview Boulevard.
Mayor, this is my item, Dan Slaughter, Assistant City Manager. So in 2025, the legislature made a modification to Statute 161.5A to allow municipalities to enter into agreements so that certain property owners would then be able to utilize certain types of vehicles on the coastal beaches so that they could service some rental equipment. So that's what this item is, a collection of all the agreements that we've done to date and bringing them to you as a package. This includes, of course, all the ones that the clerk mentioned. It provides a permit sticker for the authorized vehicles and a system for us to internally manage it. And there are a few more that will be coming to you. We'll hope to get those completed and bring them at the next council meeting. There are just a couple other ones that we're having to do some final details on. There's no new rental services on Clearwater Beach. This is all our existing, just making him compliant with the state statute. Mr. Cater's here. He is, his department will manage the agreements and the permit process, and Chief Candy's team would handle any enforcement associated with the statute. Be more than happy to answer any questions.
Okay. Any questions? Councilmember Albritton.
So I read all the ones that you have on this form here. It says Palm Pavilion Hotel. Is it the Palm Pavilion Hotel, or is it going to be Krabby's Pavilion that actually puts the umbrellas out?
So I had that very specific question to them. Now that the property is sold, the restaurant's being managed by one group and the hotel by the other, and the hotel is going to be the owner-operator for the rental equipment.
Got it. Thank you.
Any other questions, comments? Do we have consent?
Yep.
We have consent on 10.1. And I am going to take just a very short 5-minute break. So we'll recess and come back in about 5 minutes. back to order. Turn on the microphone and we'll go to agenda item 11.1.
Reappoint Michael Boutsikis to the Community Development Board with a full term expiring February 28, 2030. Council members, Mr. Boutsikis just completed his unexpired term and is eligible to be reappointed.
Let's reappoint
Any
him.
discussion? Any objection? If no, do we have consent?
Absolutely.
We have consent. Okay, agenda item 11.2.
Appoint an individual to the Municipal Code Enforcement Board to fill an unexpired term through November 1, 2028. Council members, Mr. Farrar had to resign from the board. He resigned back in October, and we finally have a couple of applicants for your consideration. Ms. Chelsea Gerd at 407 Pennsylvania Avenue with a sales property management background, and Dr. Mark Michael from 11 Baymont Street, and he's a retired physician.
Okay, Councilman Menino.
Yeah, Mayor, thank you. I'll nominate Ms. Chelsea Gerd. I know we've all heard her name multiple times. She has applied for multiple board positions, and without a doubt is a passionate citizen in our community. We do know how passionate and how hard she works in her neighborhood and her neighborhood association. I think she would be a great fit for the Municipal Code Board.
I agree.
I would recommend Dr. Mark. Chelsea's a great candidate, but that would be a gross overrepresentation of 33755. That would be 3 people in one committee from that zip code. Dr. Mark is very involved in his community, very well respected. He would bring a different perspective. I would recommend Dr. Mark.
Okay, Councilmember Cotton.
Yeah, I went through the zip codes as well, and there would be 3 for Ms. Grid's zip code, and Dr. Michael would be the second for his zip code, so he is also has a zip code that's represented. I would be in support of Chelsea due to her property management background, time on the nuisance abatement board. You know, as Councilmember Menino pointed out, she's very involved within her homeowners community, with the police department. I think everybody around her neighborhood knows who Chelsea is. You know, I think Dr. Michael brings professional leadership, obviously being a doctor, some governance experience when going through his application. But when it comes to actual being involved in the city, it looks like Chelsea's already been active and a part of that. So that's what kind of made even though the zip codes, it's kind of, once there's more than one person already represented, in my mind, that just kind of goes away at that point, because you guys know I always try and find somebody that's outside of that zip code, but both are already represented for our 2 applicants we have. So that's where I'm at.
Who is the other one from 33767 that's on the board now?
I do not have that before me, but I can find out.
Yeah, he left, but I think that's still 33767.
Yeah. I think
6, 7,
someone that-
it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
So then Dr. Mark would be the only one from that zip code. Is that an accurate thing, or no? Does that 667 represent one other member, or Mr. Farrar who left?
Hold on one second.
Because then there would be no representation from that zip code. I don't know.
Yes. Actually, there's only one. So yes, so that would have been Mr. Farrar's. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I'm for having someone
Oh.
from out
I'm
there.
sorry, I stand corrected. So that the zip codes that are listed does already include the fact that Mr. Farrar is no longer there, so that's Mr. Plum.
Okay.
Oh,
So they all do still have the same, they still have representation. Okay, perfect.
okay. Well, trying to see if we have consensus here. I don't have a strong feeling on it. Either one of these would be good for me, so I'm a little on the fence. So you prefer
Chelsea.
Chelsea, 3 of you, so I'll go along with that.
May I place it on?
Vice Mayor? You-
That's fine.
Yeah.
May I place it on consent with Ms. Gerd?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes, on
do we
consent.
want it on consent?
Yeah.
That's the question.
Yeah.
I mean, we could
Okay.
vote on it, but we.
Yes, on consent.
Okay. Okay. That will move to item 11.3.
Provide direction regarding the August 17, 2026 and November 2nd, 2026 work session meetings. Council members, due to the upcoming August primary and the November election, the supervisor of elections has informed staff that they need access to chambers earlier. So we would need to be completed by 1 o'clock. So either A, we can change the work session start time to 8:30 or just hold council meeting onlys on those 2 dates. And then I do have something else after we have some direction there.
Preference?
I'm good with having
Wanna go first?
that one meeting that week on our work session, whatever the board's comfortable with.
For both of these dates, or?
I'm good with that.
I'd-
It would just be the work session, right? Just that Thursday night?
Right.
then?
Yes.
Okay.
So neither, so instead of having the 2 work sessions in August and November, we would just have, for that one meeting, we would only have the council meeting. So no work session that week, just the council meeting.
That's fine.
And I will try to work with staff to try to manage the length of the agenda. How's that?
We'll see how it
Yes.
goes.
I'm fine with that, but I've got another request.
So this morning, I was informed that there is a conflict with the September 3rd council meeting. And so I need direction from council as to what you want to do. The issue we have with changing that meeting date, it is our first hearing for our millage. And we are required by statute to hold the first hearing between September 3rd and September 18. And so
Oh, so we couldn't back it down?
you can't back it out, no.
Oh,
Because September 4th, from what I understand, there may be, you guys will be traveling to Phillies for the annual meeting, and that is when the county will be holding their first hearing. So
so we could put it the next week?
it can be the following week if there are no conflicts. I'll have to double check with the county, because we can't also have it with the the school board's hearing. So if there is no conflict, I'll work with your assistants to determine or identify if it's possible. And if not, then we'll figure it out.
Okay.
Let's move forward then. Let's look into it.
Thank you.
No budget this year.
I've always traveled up on Friday mornings. I mean, there's possibility to get there early Friday morning to still make the Friday night game if that's our conflict. So,
It's tight.
I would have to check.
Well, right now it's scheduled for Friday morning, I think.
Yeah.
And I would like to go on Thursday because kind of always gone that extra day. Not everybody goes, but that's the only reason I wanted to change that date.
I agree. You want to change it?
So,
I would prefer that myself if we can look at changing it.
So
If
what's-
not, I understand.
so what are we doing? We're going to move it, see if we can move it to the following week?
I will work with your assistants to see if there's a potential date, because it does
Okay.
need to be held after 6 o'clock, because it is a public hearing, so it can't start any sooner than 6.
Got it.
So I will see if there's a potential date, and I'll bring that as a separate agenda item if we have consensus with the other 2 meeting dates.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay,
I mean, yeah, we'll see. Buckle in.
You're really the first one.
all right. Move to agenda item 12.1.
Mayor, 12.1, that's a city attorney item. Back in November of 2025, the former city attorney brought forth a legal services agreement with Gray Robinson for the defense of 2 claims bills involving the city of Clearwater and Giannikos, which is the plaintiff. The agreement was to provide for the defense for the 2 claims bills. In January, there is a special master's hearing. Some of the fees as a result of the hearing exceeded the amount that was allotted. So this increase is to cover all the costs and the fees as a result of the special master's hearing. Be happy to answer any questions.
Okay. Any questions? Okay, none. Move to agenda item 12.2.
The remaining are second ordinances, or second reading of ordinances. So,
12.3 and 12,
All the way through
all the way through 7? Well,
12
some of them withdrawn.
Yeah, so 12.5 through 12.7 are withdrawn, but they've been advertised, so if anybody shows up on Thursday.
Okay, move to agenda item 13 then. City manager reports.
Thank you. I just wanted to say one thing. This weekend, we had multiple events that were occurring simultaneously downtown, and while there was some apprehension about how that would work out, it turned out spectacular, and I just wanted to thank the team for their coordination, and there was a lot of our team on hand that night to go around and make sure that the businesses and the events were all doing well, and they did, and it was really outstanding to see so many events occurring at the same time and successfully. So thank you to all the teams that were responsible for making sure that went off so well.
Thank you. Agenda item 14, city attorney reports.
Yeah, nothing, Mayor.
Agenda item 15.1.
Update on traffic studies.
That's you.
Absolutely, thank you. Mayor, appreciate it. Last work session, there was a discussion regarding traffic studies on Clearwater Beach and our partnership with PSTA regarding the trolley during spring break. Just wanted to bring a little bit of clarity because there are multiple traffic studies going on throughout our corridor of 60, so I just want to make sure we were all on the same page, and with Mr. Albritton and I representing us at Ford Pinellas, I thought that was a good time, not to do it at that work session or at that agenda item, but to come back this week. The existing one that the gentleman was talking about is regarding our Clearwater Beach mobility and traffic study that goes from our roundabout and heads towards Sand Key. That is a partnership with Ford Pinellas. Clearwater skin in the game was $50,000. Ford Pinellas put up just under $274,000 on a commitment. To give you an idea of where they are, that study has been completed. Its review and findings and recommendations were presented last week to Whit Blanton and his Ford Pinellas team. That was on February 26th. The next step for that is to come forward. Ford Pinellas will have a meeting with our city staff. They will update them on those findings and recommendations, followed by we will be updated on that plan, what it looks like, the recommendations, and then it would subsequently be presented to Ford Pinellas. So as a dais, staff will see it first, then us, and then the group at Ford Pinellas, but that has been completed. I know we're all interested in finding out what those recommendations and results are. The second study that's concurrently going on at the same time is with the FDOT, Ford, Pinellas, and Clearwater. The scope is from that roundabout heading directly east over State Road 60 corridor to McMullen Booth. That startup funding was provided by FDOT. Their funding for that project will last through the summer of '26. We are getting pretty close to that. The reason this study is going on, several years ago, the county did a study regarding our Belcher Gulf to Bay intersection. We all know the safety challenges that exist there. They came back with 3 recommendations. One was an overpass, another was a U-turn and no left turns. The county did not like any of them. Their concern was while we might address and mitigate safety at this one intersection, they didn't feel any of the studies really told them what that does east and west of that intersection. So it's back being studied again. There is some gaps in that study because of funding. It is omitting a lot of safety mitigations. It omits neighborhood input and community engagement, which Ford Pinellas, as well as our city staff, would really prefer to see in a study like this. What Ford Pinellas is committing, they're committing an extra $200,000 if the city would match that and put skin into that study. The ask for us as a dais to give that direction of $200,000 match. FDOT has put over $400,000 into it, so it would be 200 city, 200 Ford Pinellas, and 400 from FDOT. Ford Pinellas does recognize that this isn't normally how this communication should and they would prefer to happen. They do have great communication with our city staff, and the only reason this is coming to the dais and here is because of a timing concern. If we get closer to the summer, FDOT will directly hit a pencils down position, and that's not somewhere I think that we want to be when it comes to this study and all the time and energy over the years that's gone into it. So the ask is direction from the dais for a $200,000 match. I know at one point we were waiting for a state grant, I believe. I know staff could probably talk to where we were with that state grant, Safe Streets. We did commit, depending on that graph, upwards up to $500,000. I think that grant has kind of been on hold at that level. I don't know if staff wants to talk to that at this point or at another time.
Dan Slaughter, City Manager. Ann is here, so she could speak to it. It was a federal grant, I believe, and I think it was just on hold during the shutdown, but it is one that we committed based on the scope being compliant with it.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council, and Holland Transportation Division Manager. So when we originally approached FDOT with the Safe Streets for All grant, we were just in the stage of having our agreement reviewed with the administration, former administration at the time, and when the administration switched, we were put on hold. Now we've requested multiple updates from them, and it seems like as soon as things make movement for us to receive the funding, it gets put on hold again. So we're literally just waiting for them to release the $400,000, or I think the grant amount is about 1.4 million with our match. So we're just waiting on them to give us the green light so we can proceed. But we have we have an award for about $1 million.
Thank you. The fear at the county level is that if we continue to wait and this communication doesn't happen and we do not get this ball rolling, that funding mechanism will drop. And the last thing the county wants to see is pencils down again. I just discussed it earlier that when we were in Tallahassee, we did learn how important it is to make sure we had those funding mechanisms in place for these projects. Last thing we want to do is disincentivize the state from funding a project like that. So again, that is the request, $200,000 match that Fort Pinellas would also match, and we can discuss that afterwards. The third is a multi-jurisdictional project. That's Pinellas, Hillsborough County, City of Clearwater, and Tampa, and that's a PD&E study. That's Project Development Environmental Study. And that's the Courtney Campbell Causeway. That's McMullen Booth all the way across the bridge to the Veterans Expressway. That is 100% FDOT funded. Clearwater does not have money in that. However, we do have a lot of interest in it. The legislation recently put into work anything that's put into a PD&E category automatically must be funded within 5 years. So there is a lot of excitement about this project because so many take so long to get going, and when we see them is years down the road. This project, because they put it into a PD&E category, we will see things transpire with that one pretty quick. But those are the three traffic studies that are currently going on our 60 corridor. Again, I'll go back to the roundabout east to McMullen Booth is the one that has a funding issue and a gap, and if we could find a way to close that gap without waiting for a grant with the unknown and uncertainty that we have with that, that would be probably more beneficial to Clearwater.
We could certainly take it back, talk to finance, and see if we can find a funding mechanism for you to bring back for you to consider it for approval. Absolutely.
Any questions or any comments? Okay, thank you. Move to agenda item 15.2.
Yes, sir, that's my agenda, and that's coming to alignment with our city's tree ordinance. In December, the county updated their ordinance, and that was ordinance number 25-1822A. It's in regards to their tree permitting, and the reason I'm bringing it up is because when a local jurisdiction or municipality does something that seems to be and provide more efficiencies and ease on their constituents, it's something that I think we should review and look at. And in reviewing their ordinance versus what we have now, it does seem to be more efficient for not only property owners, but also ease the burden on staff in reviewing different things. So is what I'm asking for us to do now is I brought it to the city manager. I showed her the ordinance, a list of 5 or 6 different things that I noted was different in our current ordinance versus theirs. She advised it would be over the 8 hours of staff time, so it would need to be brought to this board for approval to start looking at. Currently we're on an inch-for-inch replacement model, which can be rigid and difficult for property owners or business owners to navigate. The county went to a tiered mitigation structure, and it looks like it's has and will help with the expectations and predictabilities of allowing those homeowners or business owners to essentially have more grace, if you will, in proceeding with what trees can come down. I do want to say that this is in no way touching protections and messing with our canopy. It's about refining what we're already doing. We'll continue to protect the specimen trees in which are pointed out by staff, as well as historic trees. This is just about easing the unnecessary burdens for routine residential removals, smaller trees that have minimal canopy or any type of growth that impacts anything. I think that in doing these types of things and having the willingness for us to see another municipality change something, that it might be working for them and us to review our processes, builds trust with our constituents. It shows that we're always trying to look for those efficiencies and be more reasonable and bring compliance to an easier way that they can understand. So with that, I would like to see that if you guys are comfortable, we can give staff direction to look into the county's ordinance, look into our ordinance, and maybe bring ours more in line, if not, I'll say copy what the county did.
Okay. Councilmember Albritton?
So my question is, how would that affect the CRA decision on the tree thing that just happened? Do we know?
You mean the CBA?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry, CDB.
Or CDB? I'm not sure if we're prepared to
No,
answer.
I can tell you, the county
Okay.
says it's only from this date going forward. It's nothing retroactive.
Nothing retroactive.
Okay.
Councilmember Cotton did bring this up. We ran it through our team having a conversation in terms of the time that it would take for this, which was in excess of the 8 hours, which is why it's coming to the dais to determine if that's something that the council wants to direct our team to do, and then, we'll have to discuss in terms of priorities.
Okay. Any other comments?
I'm supportive. I thank you for bringing this forward. I followed the county commissioners' multiple discussions on this. I think at the end of the day, what they found was they found a pragmatic approach that respects both private property rights and the collective good, and pays respect to our environment and the tree canopy in our community that we so desire and need. And I think they did a good job of truly weighing the property rights and administrative inefficiencies against that environmental protection. So I'm supportive of the direction they went for staff to look into it.
Anybody else?
Sure, if I may, if you're not, you want to finish your conversation on the dais, I was going to
Yeah,
just.
I guess you're supportive of it, everybody?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm supportive of it too. I don't think we're gonna, there's no intent by any of us to, we want to protect our tree canopy, but it did seem like the county's revisions were sensitive to homeowners that, we've all heard feedback from homeowners at Clearwater. We're pretty tough with folks who are well-intended. They just want to make their home look more beautiful, and our current rules are pretty tough on folks. So I think, again, protecting the tree canopy for the entire city is incredibly important to our city, but yet finding some concessions we can make to make it a little bit easier on property owners. I thought the county did that, and I support this as well. So I guess the consensus of the five of us is to support looking at it.
Appreciate that. Thank you for that clarification. If you like, we can start with a kind of a high-level presentation at our next opportunity to meet with you, with planning department leading the way. There are multiple departments involved, which is why we wanted to kind of understand what the questions were, so we can properly kind of put the conversation together, tell you what our existing rules are, of course, right? Go over those, tell you some things, because there's some things in process that we're working on staff-wise, but also, give you some feedback with respect to that policy and where we think we can go forward from there. So I think you're looking for kind of that, all of that information to make a decision or give us further direction on what you want to do. So we can do that at a upcoming meeting. I don't believe we'd have another meeting this month, but it would be next month if that's right. So we can do that.
I mean, yeah, again, I don't know what resources you'll need to invest in it. I just knew it was over the 8 hours, so I don't want this to be rushed, and, and I don't think that's what you're saying. No, by I'm any not. means. I'm just saying But- we can do something that gives you information. Perfect. And have a conversation and go from there. Awesome. Okay. Nope, all for it.
And I think we're really looking, we're looking really to see if we can,
Mimic or copy
Yeah.
what they've done, because it does seem, like I said, the efficiencies seem to
Yeah.
be there, and I don't want to encumber you all in going from scratch. I mean, if something seems to be working and it seems to have already be benefiting residents from one angle, I mean, we don't need to reinvent the wheel, you know what I'm saying? So if,
And that's the reason for us really giving you kind of a overview of
perfect.
how it works, if you will, and have a discussion about what we may be of recommendation to tweak, or what you may see is you're hearing something that we're not doing. So it's a conversation.
Awesome.
Okay.
Thanks, Al.
okay.
Thank you all.
Agenda item 15.3, that's mine, and in our weekly meetings, city manager brought to me a request we had to, I think, add a link for a group to the construction page of the city website.
It wasn't for necessarily a link. That's what I called to clarify. It was a matter of information being provided in any number of ways. There wasn't any one way that the request was made, but just that it would include all construction projects that are occurring in the downtown.
Okay. And right now, it's just those that we have some city involvement in.
That is currently what is listed. That is correct.
So we know there are a number of other projects that they all have commercial realtors, and they're all, my feedback to staff was that I didn't really want to deviate on that page, that city government page, official page, from just talking about city government activities. So to the extent we can support all, and we do. I mean, we're out there working with community and private property owners and realtors. In this case, and downtown, we've got a number of commercial realtors working on different properties, filling those, that we all lean in and we all talk to potential tenants and talk about what's going on downtown. But my concern was to put, I think we're crossing a line a bit when we start deviating from discussing on our official webpage anything other than things that we have been directly involved in. So the Gotham properties, obviously, that's one that went through our process to select them. The ballot makes sense, the Osceola Garage. Certainly, we all want to champion growth and development of downtown. My feedback to staff was just that I didn't want to really get into any to get into all construction, because that really opens the door for anybody and everybody. And I think for use of other government web pages, I don't know, at what point are we helping folks advertise or helping them, promote their own private business interests with the official web page? Again, for me, it's not about, whether or not we talk to community partners or potential partners, and we encourage them to invest and take space in downtown Clearwater and have a presence here. For me, it was just about information on our official page, other than those projects that the city has been directly involved in. So that was my thing.
And I just want to clarify, because we've had both requests from the public and then from other developers about other projects that are going on in downtown. And so since we have this construction page, could we not add everything? We've had conversations with some of the outside consultants that we are working with to help rebrand Clearwater, also in terms of discussing what's going on, kind of keeping the excitement as it relates to while we're under construction. And so they provided just different opportunities or different ways that we could show the multiple investments that are being made in downtown without any one kind of type of promotion. It's just a matter of informational purposes only, which is why, like I said, there's no requirement for a link, there's no requirement for anything like that. It was really more so just information so that there is transparency about all the investment that's occurring in downtown.
Councilman Albritton.
So I kind of understand where you're coming from on it, that we don't want to be giving anybody free advertising and promotional stuff, but I think it's so important to show everything that's going on. We just had a great article in the magazine about what's happening in downtown Clearwater, and it showed all our projects, and things that but there's other things going on, and I think it's important to show that. Even if it's just informational, that we've got this, this, and this, and this going on besides the things that we're with, I think it does generate excitement, and I think you're going to see a lot more of it happening.
Yeah, I understand, and I'm not opposed to that. I mean, this is all kind of high-level talking, so I don't know what I'm envisioning, what it would say or not say. I think it's perfectly, we talk about the number of acres or lots or opportunities for retail development or whatever. I don't think it's, I don't, but, our downtown really stretches all the way up to Gulf to Bay. I mean, it's really, it's a wide area. It's not just downtown in particular, it's a wide group. Our downtown's pretty big, so, but I'm not against talking about the number of properties and all these things. I hesitate to get into specific parts of downtown, specific owners, because then it becomes, why didn't you mention, I mean, I just think you also get into a level of fairness too, are you giving one same attention to the others? But talk about the overall opportunities downtown. I mean, obviously the ones that the city has been directly involved in. But, these folks had no trouble, when I say these folks, I mean Gotham folks and the hotel and other folks who have developed. We've got the affordable housing that's going up there in the Gateway across from Nature's Food Patch. I mean, folks have been able to promote their own properties and the growth of their own properties and fill it. We want to facilitate that. I just think the government website is maybe not the best place to do that. There are other ways to do it. So that was my concern.
Well, then how do we, when this comes to fruition, like we're in the stages of Pinellas County master plan and their property, I mean, I think definitely we should be showing what's happening there or linking to it or something, because that's something a lot of people aren't familiar with. I mean, a lot of people are familiar with it, but a lot of people aren't. I mean, they don't know. I talked to somebody, it was about a month ago, oh yeah, look at what 13 acres of, Pinellas County moving out, and they were like shocked. I guess they don't, well, there's really not a lot of newspapers to read nowadays, but when I know this for a fact, that if you want to get information out, you have to be so redundant with it. You got to almost be so repetitive with it that you go, how can anybody not know this? Because that's how you reach people. Because everybody's in their bubble, and you've got to get it out to everybody, and it takes a lot to get it out to people. That's all I know. So,
but there again, I understand what you're saying. But there again, that's a government project. I mean, that makes sense. That's the government, the Pinellas County government's controlling it. So,
but it's not ours.
Again, we're talking. I thought there was going to be a link to specific groups that wanted to.
No,
I don't know what exactly we're talking about. I'd like to see what draft proposal there is to talk about it. But I would just encourage us to stay at a high level so that we. And again, it's not just about it's partly drawing the line between public and private for just use of a public website to promote private business, and we all have concerns about that. But some of it is a fairness of is everybody getting treated equally too? That if you're not careful, you open the door, then now you get into those conversations. So, Vice Mayor.
So I actually went back to the site just to clarify a couple of things. In order to go along with your your way of thinking, it would have to be downtown or City of Clearwater construction projects.
Correct.
Right? But for me, this is a government webpage to inform and educate our public about all the projects. And when I click on all of them, they have a very nice standardized format for each and every single one. So I don't have a problem with including all the projects, because I think it does convey a positive message as long as we're consistent and it's standardized. So whatever format we do for Osceola parking garage is the same one as we do for Gotham, and they are. So if we can keep it standardized, therefore we don't endorse anyone, then I don't have a problem with it. the more, I believe, the more the better. As long as it's just by project or by address, it's completely neutral.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Thank you. I was waiting for the green light. Mayor, thank you for putting this forward. It's an important conversation to have. I understand where you're coming from. I think, you identify things that really highlight the importance of neutrality, the importance of consistency, the importance of fairness, and I agree with all that. I think there probably is a common ground that we can find that strikes a key with both sides. Clearwater is undoubtedly in an exciting period of time and change down here, and whether it's been called an urban renaissance or a downtown reboot, these are exciting times with a lot of good things going on. I think we've all identified the vital importance of us as council members and staff to continue to tell that story of hope and optimism and growth. And we've committed, not just this dais and many groups before us and leadership teams have committed a lot of resources and dollar amounts to truly try to shift and change those perceptions in our community. I think this is a way that we can. I think it's a way to tell that story. To me, not just listing our public projects that are downtown, but the private projects, the public-private partnerships, maybe finding a equilibrium for you is let's identify what is in what category, what's public, what's private, what's a partnership. I think when we start to do that, we're contributing to the transparency of what we're doing down there. I think it has the ability to reduce confusion, prevents misinformation. I think it does away with some redundant questions to staff or to us of what's going on and who's this and who's that. When we're talking our downtown, let's be transparent. We're talking about the Church of Scientology in downtown buildings. I think there's a lot of, discussions over the years have been please develop, please activate, regardless of what partnership it is. I think when groups develop and activate downtown, we should find a way to tell that story, and not, we keep moving the goalposts sometimes. I think, finding that way to improve that communication to our citizens, to our visitors. I think the message that we send to the real estate market of positive, of growth, of growing, of activity, I think that's important. I think it encourages collaboration, it increases visibility, it ensures that information that's out there is accurate and factual that's being presented. So I think there is a lot of key points. I do understand where you're coming from and the fairness, keeping it consistent, the perceived endorsement of something is, I can see where that could be a concern. So maybe if we find a way to separate public-private partnerships and identify what they are, keep them all neutral and consistent, as well as even, put a disclaimer on there above some of the private developments that, although these are permitted through the city of Clearwater, that's no more than a permitting process, and it's not an endorsement of, what they're doing, something that gives some comfort to it. But I do think it's a positive for transparency and to move this city forward to tell that story of those downtown projects.
Councilmember Cotton?
Yes, sir, thank you. I just want to, is this what we're talking about? Is this the map?
No.
We can pull it up if you
No,
want.
there's a page that talks about.
Actual
Jo-
list?
Joelle, will you please put it up just so
Yeah.
it's clear what we're talking about?
I think, so the request come from the Cleveland Street Alliance.
I've had requests in terms of what's going
Is it
on
below the
downtown about multiple properties from a lot of different people. So no,
To actually be mentioned on the page.
there was no request to
okay.
mention the Cleveland
A little
Street
bit further
Alliance,
down.
no. That was an option in terms of a way to communicate the information would be to refer to the Cleveland Street Alliance webpage because it's listed there. But there was not a request that it be that. It was more of a request to communicate all the projects that are going on and the construction projects in downtown. I get the request from media. I have a current request from the media about the projects in downtown.
So but to my point, again, look, I'm not saying we don't talk about growth and opportunities downtown for everybody. But, you know, if one of them is Cleveland Street Alliance, and that's a for-profit LLC, and Scott Dobbins, a commercial realtor, is listed on Sunbiz as the manager of that LLC, which is fine, but I think, you know, I think we need to be careful that we're not, you know, are we using it to help commercial realtors, or are we using, and again, I don't know what the description is going to be. I had a misunderstanding about what we're going to do with the information. Maybe if I knew more about what we're trying to do, I might feel differently about it. But it doesn't prevent us from doing all kinds of things. And I even tried to call Mr. Dobbins not years ago, months ago, offer my assistance to talk to potential tenants that he might have for his space. Wasn't able to get in touch with him to have that conversation, but certainly we all do that to promote. You know, I've been on a meeting here recently talking about that. I did a thing for the local news down there on Cleveland Street to promote all the businesses and business opportunities. So maybe I just need to learn more about what the proposal is here, because it doesn't sound like it's what I thought it was. But I kind of need to know more, and all I wanted to do was express to the other four of you what my concerns, reservations were about it.
Well, again,
And
I
think it's important that we give you direction on what is appropriate and what's not, because in my mind, it could be done in a way that I don't know that is appropriate use of a government webpage.
Sure, no, and I appreciate that. Again, I want to be clear, there was never a request from anybody to put the Cleveland Street Alliance on the website. There was a request to include all, and I've gotten it from information request from residents, from business owners, from media, and yes, from the Church of Scientology, to include all of them. So that's what it was. In terms of the content that we put on the website, that's something that we discuss. I brought it up in our one-on-ones to make sure that we were all on the same page in terms of we're in the process of rebranding. It's a conversation we've had a lot at the DDB. We've hired a company to help us assist with that, and it's a way to keep that information ongoing about the investment that's included and that's going on in downtown, as well as communicating traffic and things like that. But so this was just more of a updating the council in terms of what staff was looking to do.
Thanks, Mayor.
Again, so if we look at being fair and have it standardized, so each project would be by the address, not by which LLC is owned, because there are different people or organizations that own different properties that are being renovated right now. So if we would just put their address versus who they belong to, and then describe them in the same standardized format that we are doing with Osceola Garage, then I don't think there's any, then we would maintain neutrality. If each project was just given an address, instead of lumping them with who owns them. That's one way, to
That would
me,
be-
we would ensure neutrality, and continue to have public trust.
I agree with that. Councilmember Cotton?
Yes, thank you. So essentially, you know, each crane, once you click on that, takes you to the bottom of the page, which is the project that's ongoing. And, I mean, just hearing the thoughts, it sounds like we're in agreement that, you know, government doesn't pick winners and choosers, that, or winners and losers, that we are here to ensure the betterment of the city as a whole and inform in a transparent way which projects are ongoing downtown. Because I would look at the Ballad Hotel and the Bluffs apartment development deal that from one lens of what I'm hearing be said, that those should be removed, because once the city signed over everything to them, we're essentially out of that from now on. Versus, I think we are on the precipice of something great for Clearwater that we've never seen before, not bringing in the county properties and the acreage that's there. So if we're able to show more cranes, even if we want to do a scale of different colors that are public, private, and private, I mean, that might even be one way of doing it. And then color coding at the bottom of that page to match the color of the crane too. And it does, it just shows the developers, it shows people that want to move to this area and be a part of a vibrant downtown that, okay, this isn't what it has been, right? We get the CRA updates, but not everybody goes to Facebook and listens to CRA updates or sees the spotlight or sees the growth that is downtown. they haven't, might not have been down here for 2 years, and they know it as the paper mache in the windows, you know, which that's not happening like it was. Things have definitely changed, and I think that giving credit where credit's due and letting people see that, hey, maybe your Friday night you do want to go downtown Clearwater now just to enjoy the vibrancy that is there. Maybe you run into 3 events you didn't even know were happening, and now you're stuck in one of them and having a great time. You want to come back next weekend. So I would be for continuing what we're doing here and promoting everything that's ongoing in here for everybody to know, right? With the way that even the vice mayor has put out there, I think that it shows we're growing. I mean, goodness, when you just drive down Osceola and you see all the cranes, that's exciting in and of itself. So this is my 2 cents on now understanding what I think the question may or may not have been. So,
Well, I think, you know, I think another distinguish between what I see on there now is we know what's going in the Ballard Hotel. It's a hotel. I mean, they're not looking for a tenant. It's the hotel. It's being developed for a purpose with something in there. And even the Goffin property, that's apartment buildings. They're going to put apartments in there. So there's a business already dedicated to go in, a couple of those. I think that's another way. That things that are being, you know, buildings being renovated or built, and they don't have, you know, anything in them yet. And again, I'm not opposed to, you know, I'll work with anybody to try to help attract tenants for their buildings. But I think that's another way to distinguish those two at least is, you know, they have somebody in them now, in addition to them being a project which we initiated. I think that's one other way. So I don't want to keep going on all day. We're already getting close to 5 o'clock, but I think if I just learn more about what we're proposing to put on there, maybe I'm more comfortable with it. But
I'm looking for direction from the council.
well, may I say something really quick, because I might be confused, but aren't the Ballard Hotel and the Gotham project, I believe they do have like 10,000, 9,000 square feet of retail space, right?
But they have their main
The main
anchor.
focus.
Their anchors.
So that's where you're making the okay.
Anchors in there, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
So is the consensus to move forward? Is there consensus you want a presentation on what it's going to look like? I want to make sure we're meeting expectations on this.
I think the consensus is to move forward, but I don't know if everybody's really clear on what we're proposing.
Because the mayor, I think what he'd like to see is a presentation of what it's going to look like. I think everybody wants to move forward on it, so
Yeah.
if you could do that and bring it back to us, we can get moving.
And for me, it doesn't have to be a formal presentation.
Maybe just give an example.
I'd like to see what we're doing.
So for example, like what Vice Mayor stated and showed in terms of what the website has now, is there a consensus you want us to just replicate that for every project that has major construction?
That would be my opinion.
Well, and I think that's the direction that you're looking for, is what does this presentation need to look like? And, you know, I see it as what Vice Mayor has pointed out, and as well as Councilmember Menino, maybe color coding and keeping it as is with the addresses and
Yeah.
what may or may not be
Good with
going,
that. Yep.
be available for offering, right? Like, that's what I'm hearing.
And what constitutes major construction, too? You know, is it-
Okay, we can define that. And also, you know, with active permits and things like that, we did submit so that you all could see the active permits that are currently ongoing, so you all should have that. But we will define what a major construction project is, and we can discuss that in our one-on-ones and be ready to either have an example or show what that looks like at our next meeting.
Okay. All right. So we move to agenda item 15.4.
Okay, so I just had my last meeting with the opioid abatement funding board. And we're still finalizing our big long-term plan, but we're almost done. But I did want to share some, I would say, some positive news, some positive trends. So Pinellas County as a whole continues to see a decline in both fatal and non-fatal overdoses, with 2024 trends approaching pre-2019 levels. However, fentanyl purity has dropped significantly and certain dangerous drug combinations have decreased. though methamphetamine use appears to be rising. So what it suggests is that the lower purity and broader supply changes may be what's contributing to lower overdose deaths rather than decreased utilization. And the task force recommends strengthening recovery supports, expanding prevention efforts, and increasing access to medication-assisted treatment to sustain progress and address emerging substance use trends. So I've included several graphs that show us how we're doing. And you can see it's even visually, it's nice to see it. It's declining over the last 5 years. That's it.
Okay. Any questions, Vice Mayor? Okay. Well, thank you. Looks like we're making some progress.
Yeah, that's good news.
Good news, yeah. Okay. With that, we'll move to item 16, if there's any new business that you'd like to put on. If not, we'll move to item 17, council comments. None?
Yep.
Move to item 18, closing comments by mayor, and I have none. So with that, we'll adjourn the March 2nd, 2025 work session of Clearwater City Council.